dead. On demand almost. We'd be like, hey, can you like touch the duck or make it go off? And it would just start lighting up and going crazy.
Why should we be afraid of you?
Oh, I always click the wrong one.
You definitely clicked the wrong one.
Hello and welcome to What Goes Bump Tonight. I'm Riley Clark, and alongside me today is
Trevor Jensen.
And our special guest,
Guff.
Jeff. That's a mouthful there, Exploring with Harley.
Exploring Harley. Hello.
Yeah, get it
Thank you
right.
for having me,
Sorry.
guys.
Jeez.
Thank you. No, everybody does the error because if you go exploring with Harley, I don't know if he still have his channel. It's a Harley mechanic. He's a pretty cool guy, but just come to my channel if you're looking.
Yeah,
for
Right,
it.
this one's better.
Definitely come watch
Yeah.
Exploring Harley. Way better channel, especially if you like motorcycles and you like the paranormal, which is, of course, why we're here today.
That
is
might
to
be the
talk
best
about-
mashup I've ever heard.
I would say so.
No.
Motorcycles.
Just motorcycles and ghosts. You can't get any better
Ghosts.
than that.
Don't you call
Well,
your listeners Ghost Riders?
Yeah, I started
Your
actually.
listeners, viewers.
It's one of my viewers. Her name is Camellia. She's she's so incredible. She just happened to give like, hey, the Ghost Riders, and I just went like, well, there you go. I'm gonna call you my Ghost Riders because,
Forever and always.
well,
pretty sick.
who's more kind of spooky than the Ghost Rider himself, like
Right.
the flaming skull and
Nicolas
everything, and he
Cage.
rides a freaking kick-ass bike. So it's kind of it goes together.
Yeah, I'd say it goes together.
It goes
It's like
So
peanut
big
butter and
shout to
jelly.
Camellia for that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, shout out to Weeping Willow and Camp Paranormal.
Yeah,
who
thank you. Hi,
are
Cassie.
in
Yeah,
the
I'm not in my
chat.
premiere. I'm right here tonight.
Yeah, he's also got a premiere going on right now. So, extra special thanks for coming on to our show at the same time when you have
no
your own
worries.
content
Like I
going
told
out.
you. Yeah, I've edited the thing, so I know how it is, and people can go and watch it after the show. All right, after the show. I know it's a long one. It's 2 hours. It's incredible. I'm just asked that question, and I'll ask them a little bit later. I'm asked why I'm doing parts on my videos because they would be too freaking long.
Yeah.
Like investigating, like when I went to St. Andrews with Lomar in New Brunswick, we investigated the jail and the courthouse. But we had so much freaking good material that I didn't want to like edit and like mash it into one episode and leave some
Right.
stuff out. And I know sometimes it can be long, but I want to put like the most accurate thing, the less cut possible, because I want people to see what was happening at that moment. If nothing was happening, well, nothing was happening. I want to show that.
Yep. I totally get that.
That's
Our
what we
first
kinda do
couple
too.
videos that we released 2 different ones, but they were the same night. But one was from my perspective and one was from his perspective. And then our last couple videos, we kind of got away of that. Like we were cutting stuff out and like, trying to make a like storyline type based
A little more
episode.
digestible because it's like retention rate is a thing.
Yeah. And
But
it-
you want to render it appealing, and you don't want
Yeah.
to bore people.
Mm.
yeah, and that can be tough.
I'm not like putting down people that have those 3 hours, 4 hours video.
No, not by any means.
No way.
I understand, but sometimes it can be long for the viewer, and I understand it because I'm putting myself in a perspective of a viewer.
Mhm.
And I know that 2 hours and 9 minutes is long, but while editing the thing, I come at the end, I look at the time and say, what the heck?
How did it
Seems
get
like-
here?
It seems like not that long, but yeah, it kind of long, but I want to show everything. If like
Right.
I'm doing an Estes method and everything comes in, it's gibberish, I want to show it.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Right.
kind of like, I completely agree with that, where it's like, yeah, it is something. And if I missed something as well through the editing or the like reviewing process and you see it, well, there you go. If I would have cut that, I'd never have it.
Yeah, we've talked about that before. Like we've gone back into watching a video that we released or even someone else's video, and you're like, oh shoot, did I really see that? And then you end up rewatching it like 7 times, and it may
And
not have been
sometimes-
noticed the
Yeah,
first
and sometimes rewatching images with a headset on, sometimes you don't see and you don't hear the same things.
Right.
Will
I'd agree
hear
with that.
on the spot. Like in my last investigation, I heard somebody kind of whispered to my ear on my right side. On the video, you can't not hear it on the mic, and I had a freaking DJI Lavalier mic. I had
Really?
one, like I had mics like everywhere. But prior to this one, I was doing an Estes method with John, the father of Paige of Paranormal XP, and Tara heard a little girl kind of laugh, and you hear it on the video,
That's so wild.
incredible.
and you hear it's clear. You a little, and I didn't even boost the volume because it's so clear.
Yeah.
So re-listening to it and having those responses and everything. So I put everything. That's why I split my videos.
Right. I think that's probably honestly one of the best ways to do it, because you also give the viewers a really good idea of what an investigation actually is. Because I love Ghost Adventures. I love all the shows that, you know, like really do a good job usually. Maybe it might be dramatized every now and again, but they do a decent job. But it's not
Yeah.
like that. It's just not. I wish it was, but it's not.
You have to put a little bit of kind of drama.
Mm,
I really I love putting music in my videos.
yeah, it adds a whole nother scene.
Yeah,
And
that's something we haven't really tried. We've kind of left our audio just like open with no.
it's just like at the beginning, my music was a little bit too loud, but I've
Mm.
learned in the time that even if you put it like really in the background, that it's so faint, it's so you
Just
say,
subtle.
yeah, subtle. It's you can't, but it keeps your audience on edge.
Right. Yeah, the suspense is building all throughout because it's like the motion of the music is also carrying the video.
Exactly. So when I go around and I look out for a tune or a specific um, soundtrack,
It's there, I promise.
French. When I look for a specific soundtrack, I kind of close my eyes. I look at my scene, and I just go around and listen. And oh, that tune. And I close my eyes and I just look at my scene. Oh, okay. If I would be looking at that, that would keep me in the video. So I take it. And I can do that with 3 different songs for the same image. I will take just one.
I love that.
Yeah, and I mean, I totally get that. Like the whole reason I think our podcast has done so successful over the years is the like sound design that I did behind our voices. Like I created this whole like campfire with like the woods behind it and everything.
Yeah, like crickets and
And you can
whatnot.
just
It's
like
beautiful.
barely hear the crickets and the frogs and like everything that you hear in the woods at night and little howls and stuff.
we're having a conversation right on the side of the firewood, the fire campfire,
Mm.
and we're having a spooky conversation about ghosts and spirits and stuff like that. And that's the kind of mood, like, that is cool. And you want to keep your audience into a mindset and a mood that it will be
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that's definitely important, you know, especially I guess in the world of paranormal, even though you're looking for specific things to happen, right? Like hear noises and stuff. The music, like you were saying, like drags that suspense, like when's something going to happen? Obviously, in the time of filming it, you have no idea. So finding a music that kind of gives that uh-oh vibe, like something's gonna
Whoa.
happen. No, it's not, but it's going to, like, eventually.
exactly. And sometimes that soundtrack, you can have like a peak of music that you can put on a certain place that you want to put it, and
Right, like
you
a
will have
build,
that
and then
peak of
boom.
music, like a flashlight opens up, a rampart hits, flashlight turns off, or something like that. So you will bring your audience to that peak moment and kind of keep them in there.
Yeah. We hit our crescendo and now we calm down.
Exactly.
I love that. So, what would you say some of the best evidence that you normally catch would be? Is it like EVPs? Like, do you normally see things?
I've seen one time a shadow figure on the corner of my eye. Didn't caught it on camera. Less investigation. I heard disembodied footsteps. It was the first time that I heard disembodied footsteps, and it was in the attic that where nobody is.
Right.
And never caught an EVP with a recorder, but I had twice. One time in the Titanic victim graveyard, I had a voicing light or
Huh.
something, and I heard it afterwards, listening to my images, like editing my investigation. What?
You're like,
There's a
wait a
voice?
fucking minute.
Exactly. So I had that, and the laugh in the video that is playing tonight.
Hell yeah.
There's a little laugh that Tara will hear when John and I are doing our. Yeah, I know. Go from. You can watch the premiere after, Tommy. It's all right.
Yeah, we were
You
talking
can
about
watch the
that
video
earlier. You can
after.
stay and hang out, watch the premiere
Yeah.
after. It's totally
Everything
fine.
it's all good. It's just like,
What up, Josh? He's in the chat too.
hey, Haji. And yeah, it's so an incredible place, and to realize that you captured stuff like that afterwards, it's amazing. But the best evidence I had at the moment, like, well, are probably answers, direct answers to a flashlight, and like on
We haven't
command.
tried that like at all.
Not usually. We don't use flashlights that you had to twist usually.
Yeah, we're usually carrying around these big mag lights.
But some people don't like the flashlight because they'll say after, and yes, it is after a certain moment, the kind of wire, when it gets hot,
Oh yeah. The
it
connection's still
makes
there.
the connection jump.
Mm.
But asking questions and
And then it
on
turning on.
command, the flashlight opens up.
That's a little weird.
How many times do you need it to be a coincidence? You know what I
Right.
mean? Like one time maybe a
How many
coincidence.
times is a coincidence? I can't
Two?
say the damn word.
Yeah, 2 I'm probably like,
Can't
no, I
say
don't
it.
think so. 3, yeah,
Yeah.
it's
I'm
definitely
so
a ghost.
mad. I can't say that word.
Coinky dink.
Koninky dink. That's my
You
go.
still you still fumbled it.
Coincidences.
Words are hard.
Words are hard. They're the hardest thing.
And sometimes the flashlight will be turned off for a while, and all of a sudden you ask a question, and can you turn on the flashlight?
And
And
then
it turns on. So go and explain it.
Yeah, somebody explain that to me. I just can't.
We just
There's
use like
probably
EMF detectors so much. I think I feel like we've gotten way too dependent on it sometimes. And I think one of ours is beyond
Repair
repair. Like it just goes off all the time, crazy, and then one that just like barely
doesn't do
goes.
much. It's like, I don't know what one's broken. One of the two is.
sometimes you will think that well, first time I've tried my RAM pod, I thought it was broken.
Yeah.
I said, I got scammed. Probably somebody sold
Yeah,
me
somebody just made like $150.
and he sold me a piece of equipment that doesn't work. And the first time I heard that thing beep, I was like, what? And nowadays,
Like,
when it goes off,
how?
it's kind of normal to me. It's like, oh, okay, hello.
Hello.
But I will try to use other things to kind of correlate. Like I will use like Spirit Talker or Deadcom. Those are two apps that are great for ghost hunting. Use on airplane mode. And sometimes words that we'll have, I will ask questions, and with the instruments like cat ball, flashlight, RAM pod, yes, no prism, I will ask questions and have them interact with the toys that I will put them to play with.
Do you
That's
use
awesome.
do you use cat balls?
Yeah.
He did just say that.
Oh, that's what you said.
You're
Sorry.
lit.
Oh yeah, I use cat balls, and I've seen cat balls like lit up in the grass in the graveyard that I was like probably like 30 feet from it, and all of a sudden
Yeah, it's like there's no reason for this.
We need to get some. We've been using this duck. I don't know if you've seen us talk about it before or not.
any kind of device that entities will put their energies into it, and they will kind of close a circuit or
Yeah.
do something. They will interact with anything. If you have a child, well, you will use like I use a bear, Boo Buddy. You got
Oh,
Boo
yeah,
Buddy the
Boo
big. I
Buddy.
got Junior. I got a junior size one, and all trigger objects are good.
Right. I agree with
And
that. And I think anything can honestly be a trigger object as well.
Yeah, I think
I
so.
use I sometimes put myself as a trigger object as being a veteran. Sometimes I will interact with soldiers, and I will like go with that avenue. I'm a soldier as well. I was a soldier, so from soldier to soldier, do you want to talk?
Right.
And sometimes I have like real good interaction, and sometimes you even will see me. They even want to see me back. So
Huh.
it's
Have you had
kind of
anything ever follow you back?
one time, and
Ooh.
it was and it was actually it was kind of sweet.
Oh.
I went to investigate the gravesite of the victims of the Titanic. The Titanic. Well,
Yeah.
it's not a plane. And there was that little girl named Sarah. She was 2 when she was found, and I kind of spent fairly a good amount of time with her and talking with her. And when I came back, I was working on the movie on a kind of summer camp. It's a horror comedy, kind of a wink, wink to all the horror flicks like Friday the 13th, Halloween, and
Oh yeah.
Jason,
All the good
and
ones.
all the good ones. So, and we even had John Russo, the co-creator of Night of the Living Dead, that did a little cameo in the movie.
Damn, that's awesome.
Yeah, that was awesome. And when I went back to the camp, I just like all the guys were saying, "Hey, have you tried around the camp if there's something?" No. Well,
No,
I'm
no,
gonna try it. I just like took the ramp on. I just put the ramp on down on the ground, and all of a sudden started hitting.
huh?
Tit, 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 tit. No.
And you're like, this is not no.
And I went, okay. Well, are you a spirit proper to the camp? Nothing.
Huh?
I asked because I went to two places that were very, very well. I went to the Titanic gravesite, and I went to an abandoned. It was a prison for boys in Nova Scotia.
Oh,
And
okay.
that place has a dark energy.
I bet.
So I didn't want that one of that bad ones following me. And
Right.
usually I kind of I do like a ritual. I do a prayer to kind of like chase them away. But coming from the Titanic gravesite, I was so overwhelmed by emotions just by being there,
Mm,
and probably let my guard down. And
yeah.
when I
It'll
asked,
happen.
yeah, and I asked, "Did you follow me from an investigation?" And it hit.
I mean, I would probably have had the same thing happen to me because I get very awestruck by locations that are just the deepest history, and it is so interesting to be like I'm walking through the halls of something that once was like way different, and you can almost feel the energy still there, and it's so cool.
Just going at Hinsdale, I
Mm,
knew the story. I knew the history of the place. I knew everything about that place. And I made sure that my spirit guide was there all the time. I have that is my father's wedding ring, and
oh
I
hell
have
yeah.
it. I have it always on my hand. So I have my dad with me all the time. He's
Mm,
protecting me. And when I went to Winsdale, I told them, You're going to do overtime here. You know that, eh?"
yeah.
And it was a great investigation. Nothing followed me from there. I slept like a baby. I think the only problem we had in Hinsdale was Frank. Angelo was a friend. Well, he's my friend now.
Yeah.
Frank, he's got an attachment since his family's got a kind of a curse that is
Mm.
the guy's Italian, and his family, yeah, but his family came from Italy fairly kind of early, kind of not early, but like his great grandfather came.
Yeah, like they immigrated a long time ago.
Well, not that long, but kind of long time.
Yeah,
You
like
know?
a decent bit where you can go back a couple of generations at least.
Yeah, it's not like my ancestors that came like
Yeah.
probably on the Mayflower or with Jacques
Mhm.
Cartier. So,
Right.
so, and he knows that his family's got something, and he knows that he's got something, and the clash with his friend and the things that was were in Israel was crazy.
Place sounds
So,
unreal, honestly.
oh
It
yeah,
does. Like all of the videos I've seen of that place, and like now it's become like super popular. I feel like everyone's going there.
Where is this Hillsdale House, to be
I don't
honest?
even
it's
I don't
in
know.
Western New York State.
Western New
Okay,
York,
that's
okay.
I thought it was like East Coast, but I was like, I honestly don't remember.
I just
No, it's
can picture
past
the White House in
Syracuse.
my head right now.
It's past Syracuse. It's near the border with Ontario, actually, near
Is
the
it?
border with Niagara Falls. It's about an hour and a half south of Buffalo, I think.
That's awesome. I'd actually
And
really like to go see the
oh
falls.
yeah, Cassie knows Hinsdale. She went there, and she knows that um, the place is active, and it will get to you. But I
Heck yeah.
always kind of protect myself, and I always ask my spirit guide or my father or anybody kind of a light to protect me. And that time, probably I let my guard down. And when I asked that if somebody followed me from an investigation, I had a response. When I asked for Shelburne, nothing.
Huh.
And when I said, did you follow me from the Titanic gravesite? And I had a small hit. And when I said, Sarah, is that you? You should have seen that thing.
No way. That's
It
so cool.
it lit up like a Christmas tree.
God. And then how do you disprove that at that point? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I
I don't
was-
think I've ever experienced an attachment, so I don't.
I was shivering. I had goosebumps. I didn't have my camera, but I was shitting myself.
Yeah, you're like, what the fuck do I do now?
Right. I wouldn't even know
I-
how to react.
And I told her, you can't not stay with me. You have to go back. You have your place
You have
is
to move
there.
on.
Your last resting place is there. I will come and visit you all the time. Every time I will come to Halifax, I will go there and I will come and visit.
Yeah.
And she went because probably 2 hours later, I took the rampart again, and nothing was
Just
happening.
crickets.
Just-
Did you feel a difference at all?
yes, yes.
Spiritually?
I always feel like it's a weight.
It kind of like a way or a burden. Like you feel bad, but you don't know why.
Yeah.
You have emotions that usually you wouldn't have, or like, why do I feel so depressed today? It's sunny outside. Why?
I wish.
Right.
It's
Do you
raining.
consider yourself a empathic person? In touch with,
People told
you
me
know,
that probably I am.
I think I am
because-
as well.
All the time that I go somewhere to investigate, if the energy is really high, I feel it in my body. And I got PTSD, and well, I won't say that. A grenade blew like 30 feet from me in Bosnia, and I just had time to duck under a truck.
Wow.
So is it the fact that I escaped death that makes me? I don't know.
Yeah, they always say like you get the people that have had the closest encounters with death are more in touch with the spiritual realm. That, I mean, at least that's like the consensus that I've heard multiple
makes
times.
sense to me.
Because when we were in St. Andrews, we were on the porch of the courthouse, and the jail is like right beside it, and I could feel like emotions in me, like happiness and sorrow. And just thinking of it, I say, well, when you have hangings, you have people that is happy, like, to see the guy being hanged because probably
Yeah, they're getting their just
the
cause.
justice for somebody probably he did to a member of that person's family, and people would be sad because probably that it would be one of their relative. So I was feeling both emotions at the same time, and I was questioning myself. And some friends that are really in touch with their spiritual side told me that I could be an empath without knowing it.
Yeah, I think it's very easy to be.
I think it was the live stream that me and you were on with Tommy and Josh that we were talking about. Everyone kind of has that ability to like have some type of psychic experience or have, that touch
I've
inside of them.
seen today it like kind of jumps from one place to another, but I'll come to it. I was
Brain
seeing
work.
a documentary on Trans-Allegheny,
Oh,
that
that
place
place
is
is so cool.
the asylum, but on the lobotomy that they were practicing. And I'm a very strong believer of in our brains and parts of our brains that we don't use, you have energy that is stored in there, in your neurons and everything in your brain. And when you pass away, that's what is liberated from your brain.
Yeah.
But when they were inserting that freaking thing in the eyes and they were turning the brain into freaking jello,
Funk.
what do you think was happening with all the that? It's like you take a battery and you tear it apart.
Yeah.
Does it
And then
work?
you got all the acids and everything just leaking everywhere.
So does it work after? And what struck me was when a person said that people that would get lobotomy would look dead.
Just complete corpses after it.
Just a zombie. It turns you to an actual zombie.
So it's like liberating part of energy from your brain. That is people saying that, oh, you're a bad person because you have your brain is sick, so you have to squash it, or I don't know. And
Right.
when I saw that, and that kind of they stopped doing it because they knew that was really, really dangerous, and they were like turning normal people into freaking zombies and walking corpses. And now they medicate the people, and well,
It has the same effect.
Well, some of them
Kind of.
when some of them take their medication in the proper manner,
Yeah.
they look kind of normal. But some people are too sick that medication would work. So, yeah. Audrey's got a great that his aunt's uncle got a lobotomy here in Maryland, and she said he went quiet afterwards. Like he
So
was
wild.
like he said when he was released.
It's a part of you.
Exactly.
I don't
It's
know
like-
exactly know what that part of the brain does, but isn't a lot of it like your memories,
Like
and,
your frontal cortex?
comprehension, and
Yes,
like it's
but
like the most important part of your brain.
there's parts that they would squish or they would go with their freaking thing. Probably on parts they wouldn't knew, and even today we don't know what that part of the brain kind of triggers, or we don't know. Our computer is one of the most complex thing in the universe, and still on this day you have neurosurgeons and neuro freaking psychiatrists that can't even they starting to understand the human brain.
Right. What do you think if we could access 100% of it? Like, do you think that it would be like superpowers, or do you like? I guess like this is the hard question to answer too, because it's like,
You
we
would
only
have
use what, like 5%.
You would have the ability. You know the movie Lucy? Have you seen the movie Lucy with?
I have actually seen that movie. Yeah.
With Scarlett Johansson.
Yep.
I think I have.
They kind of use the theories of certain scientists to create that movie, to like the levels of percentage that of her brain that she would use. That if you train that right part of your brain, you will have. I'm not saying superpowers, but you will be able
You'll be
to
above human powers.
Well,
because I mean,
I've
imagine your comprehension, your like retention for things like that at that point. If you actually had access to more than what you do now, I'm sure you'd have a photographic memory for anything.
Anything.
I have pretty good memory.
I've seen studies on people that went like in Africa and discovered people that would speak different languages or had special abilities that nobody else would. And probably that person was born with that part of his brain like developed, or I don't know. But
Like the
That's
guy that
cool.
swims in the cold and it like does nothing to his body.
Oh yeah, or the guy that doesn't build lactic acid in his muscles and he can run realistically forever.
yeah,
It's crazy.
you have people that I've seen people control their heartbeat.
What the fuck?
That's even
That,
crazy.
I
dude.
can't
That's-
imagine. It is a muscle,
You have
so
to be
holy
so
shit.
in tune because your brain
Everything-
everything what to do.
Everything that works under starts from here.
Yeah, I did. I mean,
Central nervous
damn,
system, my man.
That's
Everything
crazy to think that.
right here, you have the cortex. Right here is the part of the brain that keeps you alive. Breathing, heartbeat, everything essential is right there in the cortex. But everything else is kind of everything else that you do. Practically nothing. So why do you think that thing, that large thing, it's like you upload something to 8 freaking terabyte tower.
Yeah,
If you
Yeah.
delete every time, or you put a certain amount and you stick with it, that unused part, well, you don't know what's in it.
yeah. Just don't. We don't know.
We have no
There's
idea.
nothing, but
But
It's like-
realistically, there is something.
There has to be something there.
yeah. So I've learned that people that were using like 5% of their brain turn crazy.
They just lost it, or like over time they just couldn't handle it.
There's a saying, I will try to kind of say it in English. It's intelligence, like over intelligence, it nears freaking madness.
What does it sound like in French?
L'intelligence frôle la folie.
It's so beautiful. I love it.
From
French
the
is such a nice
intelligence-
language.
The intelligence kind of like skips over madness.
Mm.
Have you ever heard of no, Albert Einstein?
Yeah,
One of the
Yeah.
greatest brain in the world. He couldn't write shit. Every phrase he was doing
just scribbles.
no, but like he know how to write, but he was doing like misspellings and
Yeah,
everything.
it was like the grammatical side of it was garbage.
oh, garbage. But everything else, he could like calculate everything. And but people that were around him, they said that sometimes he would like just burst into like craziness, or he was like one of the most exuberant people that they ever met.
That's crazy. I guess like I would look at it as like the quote where it's like you stare into the abyss and the abyss stares back into you. So it's like if you're opening up that percentage of your brain that you don't know what it is, or like you start to train it like that, well, you're opening a Pandora's box at that point. And who knows what the repercussions are going to be.
The best, one of the best examples I would put is I hate to say that guy's name. You know that little guy, that little mustache guy that
Yeah.
was in
Oh, yeah.
Germany?
The shit stash.
Yeah, the shit stash. That guy was intelligent like nobody.
Yeah. Like
Right.
to a point to where it was too much. Like
Too
Exactly.
dangerous.
Yeah, where it's like
there is a point
you-
where someone can be too intelligent.
I agree with
He
that.
ha-
Where like
he
there's
had
always too
the-
much of a good thing.
Exactly. He had the ability just by speaking to an audience to kind of like get them in a trance.
Yeah. Yeah, and he was very well spoken. It's insane.
He had that ability. He had uh, 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 um, political strategies that nobody ever saw. I've read the book Mein Kampf that he wrote
Yeah,
in
the
jail.
Mind Camp is fucking crazy.
And when you see everything that is said in there, it was beyond his time.
Hmm. Yeah, and
was
it's like, where did you get this information? You came up with this?
exactly like about workers, about getting 5 weeks work and 2 days rest, and freaking getting kids out of the factories. And he was a visionary,
Yeah. He just
but
had the wrong ideals.
Yeah,
Exactly.
His morals were a
Exactly.
little, let's just say not a little, very off.
He had so much a thing about uh, those about those poor Jews, and I really, really feel for the Jewish people, because it was so horrible what happened to them. And
And they're still dealing with so much, which is
Ugh.
terrible. So
but you put a man that hates like I wouldn't say a race, but a kind of person, and just by hating that person would do what they did, it's out of. But some intelligent people will become, as we qualify, serial killers.
Yeah. I would say, if you look back too on a lot of the most prolific serial killers in the United States, I think 9 times out of 10, a lot of them have a very high intelligence rating or an above average one. And the ones that get caught after like a few are the really, really dumb ones. But that's also because it's like circumstance at that point.
Have you ever watched all the history about Ted Bundy, and especially all the trial of Ted Bundy?
I've seen a good amount of information.
I don't
on
know
it.
the whole Ted Bundy. It's not actually a case that we've covered. I'd say we
The
covered.
guy represented himself in
Mhm.
court.
That's interesting.
Yeah, he
But
was brilliant.
If it wasn't for all the circumstantial evidence that was against him, and all the evidences they found in
Yeah.
his car.
He probably would have been acquitted.
Exactly.
Yeah, 100%. I agree with that. From what I've taken away from a lot of the research that I've done into it as well, it's like, how can you
Research
be
it.
that smart?
Okay. Research it. I'm not saying nothing. Okay. I've seen the trial from start to end, even when he freaking escaped from jail.
Yeah.
That
Yeah,
was brilliant how we did it.
Mhm.
They didn't even know. After 2 days, I think they realized that he was gone.
That's so good.
Isn't it absurd?
The thing that you can
And he
outsmart
got
that many
caught
people in a building.
because he was like running out of money, running out of resources, and he was like tired of it. And he
Yeah.
just gave up.
Well, the saying, with great
I-
power comes great responsibility is a
Yeah.
real thing.
Yeah. And at the end of his trial, the judge, go and watch it. He said to him, "You, young man, if it wasn't from this situation, you would have made a great lawyer."
Yeah.
And he wasn't even a freaking law student.
No, he wasn't. He never went to law school a day in his life.
No,
Did he read books at?
at the
No.
prison.
Yeah,
He
I wouldn't
studied.
even. Yeah, I wouldn't even put it
That's
past that he had the
The
type of
guy
memory
The
where
I-
he could read
people
it.
that can actually just do that to like they're so smart that they can actually
Or like the
read
piano players that do that
government text and like comprehend it. Like
Mhm.
there's so much jargon in there that if you're not familiar with the terminology, like you can get so confused and like
too. Mhm.
you can talk yourself into a circle in a courtroom real quick.
Yeah. And if you don't know the laws and the precedents and everything, you're going to be shut down.
Yeah.
But the guy every day was coming with like stuff and like counter and interrogating witnesses,
Objection, Your Honor.
and even getting the jury to doubt some of the freaking witnesses.
Yeah, and some of the evidence to get them to doubt that too. Like, man, that takes a special person to be able to work a case up for themselves like that when they know what they did.
Yeah,
to just be that good at
100% is just like, oops.
And that's my theory, that sometimes when you go and investigate those places, that if you get a bad energy, well, he will probably pretend that he's a demon, because in real life he was.
Yeah,
he could qualify himself as a demon.
Yeah, monsters can wear flesh too.
Yeah, we totally have found that with a lot of spirits, especially when we do cemeteries, that a lot of them will say, I'm the devil or something like that, but they're not.
And if you go and study every demonology book that you can find, every freaking demonologist, you have like categories of demons, and a real demon, he won't never tell you that he's a demon.
Hell no.
No, not a
will-
chance.
You
Why
won't
would
know
he do
until it's too
that?
late.
Why would
He
they
will-
ever? Why would a demon tell you that it's there?
He won't. He
Until
won't.
he's
Because,
ready to do whatever he wants to do. You know.
yeah, well, if you take like the Bible, that is a book written by man, that
We all know how truthful men are.
I'm not. I'm not the person that will put down a religion. I am Catholic. I was born. I was baptized. I got confirmation. I got everything. But you have to remember that the Bible was a bunch of books, or
a collection of like notes, basically, is what it seems
Exactly.
like.
Yeah, like I've never doubted that the Bible is a true story about a real man who had a lot of intelligence and was able to lead people and teach them great things.
Could, but they put things in the Bible. They put what they wanted.
Yeah, I don't see how it doesn't happen that way.
Because you have the Mary Gospel, or the scrolls they found in a cave near the Dead Sea, and those scrolls talk about a Jesus, a normal guy that had a normal life, and he was married and he had children.
Mm-hmm.
But in their book, he had to be single. He had to be pure. He had to, like, come on. Put a guy that is single in those times, he's going to get freaking lapidated, or I don't know. They got married at probably 13 or 12 years old back then.
Yeah,
right.
I was saying, just think about how much different those times
You
were.
were lucky to live to 30.
Yeah, I was saying everything about that era is different.
And I think Josh has an interesting question there too. Do you think demons linger in structures and such, and take in info and listen to use it against you?
I would more put it like the stone taping theory, that in a place that you have so much negative energy that was put in that place, that energy will manifest into something. That's my theory. If a person with bad intention, I don't know, the site of a murder, the energy, well, yes, and yes, demons are messengers to Satan, but they will never tell you that they are.
Why would a messenger give away his message to somebody that is not intended for it?
If you take the religious take on demons, demons are forbidden to say their name or their title, because when they were banished from heaven, God forbid them to tell their name. he banished them and banished their names. They became like you're
The
off,
fallen
man.
angels.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's why we say the fallen angels. Because like what is more forbidding or like constraining to have your name completely forgotten from everything.
Scrubbed from every text it ever was on.
Exactly.
Yeah, and just have
Like-
no identity any longer.
Like we know all practically all that the major like angels and kind of saints and everything, but those demons, we know a couple of them, but do we all know them?
Right. I mean, like Lucifer. I mean, the devil is a fallen angel himself, right?
Lucifer, Beelzebub, you got
Michael the Archangel.
Yeah, Michael.
well, Michael actually he's kind of on the fence. Michael and
Okay, yeah, that's coming back.
Is
to
it
me.
Gabriel?
I remember
Gabriel
was
and
like,
Michael.
they're good
It's
and
kind
bad.
of like the clash of the brothers and kind of but
You just gotta watch Supernatural. It tells you all about
I
it.
say Lucifer also does a good job of like depicting these things. Jenna
the
also watches that shit. Love you,
the
Jenna.
Supernatural
devil-
does the greatest job depicting the battle between like the paranormal and real life. If it was
like
a
if you see
TV show,
if you
but-
take like the Bible take of it is like the devil is trying to break everything that God made because he's jealous of man, because all the love that God gives to man, well, demons are jealous of that love that God gives to mankind. So the demons will like try to piss off God by trying to tamper with his precious creation that is man.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dan Tex.
So hey, thanks. So and I try to kind of put myself into like get the historical facts, kind of get like what's the take in such religion like Judaism, Islam, and Catholic religion. If you know and kind of study all major religion, like the real one, not freaking Scientology, those are
Spaghetti monsters.
those are not cases. But like it's kind of a I always say every legend comes from a truth. And
13 spirits.
no, Dom, that's my friend Dom, and I will
Heck yeah.
have it
What's up, Dom?
next week on my show. That guy's got 30 plus years in the paranormal field.
That's awesome.
Wow, how many years
Oh,
you
yeah.
got?
I've been interested by the paranormal since I was a kid.
Same.
But
Same.
I've been doing this since last July, actually.
Okay.
Really? That
Nice.
recent?
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yes. It's just like a new passion that I developed, and it's filmmaking, and I just like included my passion for the paranormal. And he says I'm just a student. Yeah, right.
Always be the student.
Yeah, you're just a student. He's
Mr.
like the
Miyagi,
Jedi Master, and I'm the Padawan. Yeah.
Strong with the force this woman.
Force it is.
I love that.
And talking about the man.
Yes.
Hey,
I love
I'm
that.
at episode 5 of season 3. Eh?
It's good.
I love
It
him.
is so good.
I love him.
Yeah,
Hats
if you
off to
haven't,
John
check out
Favreau.
Mando.
That Mandalorian freaking I was already in love with Star Wars, but
It
the
brought it to a
mental.
new level for me too.
Man,
I said it did such a good job.
I'm back when I was a kid when I had like those Star Wars stories.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I had all of them too. I loved it.
My girlfriend actually bought that one because he's electronic, and
Oh hell yeah.
when you pet him,
I love it. I need it.
I don't know if he will give you the force.
Oh my
Give
god.
him the
it's
force.
So cool.
You give him the force.
It is so realistic looking. It's crazy.
Oh,
Feel
I
like
wanna-
that'd be a good ghost tool. You gotta like touch it like that.
yeah. You kind of you
Just a little tickle.
yeah.
You touch my Yoda?
Oh, stop.
Yeah.
We're not
And
taking
in their
that.
ears also. It's
Oh
when
my
he puts his
god.
hand up sometimes like that, and he gives you the force. And,
That's so cool.
yeah,
That's
it's
freaking
a
sweet.
gift from my girlfriend.
I love that. See, I'm like the same way with Godzilla stuff. Like that was my childhood, was like destroying complete towns with giant lizards. I loved it.
So jump back in our now a history. When you know history, you'll know really how the spirit realms work, but you'll understand probably more stuff because before religion you had those religions, but
yeah, religions.
but they didn't survive. The Greeks had their belief with Zeus and all those other gods. You had the Romans that had Jupiter as a god, and
The Nordic Vikings.
and the Vikings with Odin and Thor and Loki, and so before that was a real religion, everybody on the planet was believing in something and had a belief of a supernatural being.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. I mean, there's always stories of things you can't see, things you can't explain. Like it's in every religion, every culture around the world has something to do with either the afterlife, how you get there, what it is, what happens when you're there, what makes you go there, what makes you go to, other gods, whatever it is. The Aztecs, the Mayans, the Egyptians.
It's funny that you bring up the Egyptians, though.
Their own thing.
Did you know that most religions are also based off the Egyptian like ideologies of how like the sun would rise and set?
The Egyptians' culture was massive.
Yeah, and like the Eye of Horus is also
all of them.
I forgot how it all like ties together.
When Plato went to Egypt, he brought back what he saw, what he learned about the Egyptians back to Greece. The political systems and every aspects of modern society comes from those societies, but were kind of transformed. Kingdoms didn't kind of I'm gonna become a king. The pharaoh was the king back then, but
you had to be born into. You couldn't just become a pharaoh.
but somebody became the pharaoh, like like in the UK.
At the beginning somebody had to.
Hey, in the UK, in a certain time, you had like 6 or 7 different kingdoms.
Right.
And now we have like just one king.
Yep.
You have to remember that before all those religions came apart, like those societies had beliefs about life after death and everything. The Greeks were putting coins on the eyes of the dead,
so they had the money to go
pay the passage from the Styx River.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dante's Inferno is a very, very good read. Like the poem of Dante. It's so good. And he's like he's shepherded by Virgil. That's one that I've always like really enjoyed. I forgot what it's actually called though. Like it's definitely not just Dante's Inferno, but like
You'll
that's
probably find
if
it.
you Google it, you'll find it.
Yeah, but you have the actual book that is really. It's weird,
But it's good.
it's good, but don't go and do edibles just before reading it. You're gonna freak.
Yeah, it's like don't do LSD and then go watch Fight Club or The Sixth Sense. Don't do that.
No,
It's
no.
wild.
I did acid once, and I've watched the movie The Doors.
Oh fuck.
Yeah.
Do not.
There's no coming back from that. You really did crack that door. Didn't. It's so bad. Damn it.
Oh, sorry, my dog is here, so.
We love dogs. There's a cat that usually is like
He was being
bird
crazy
catting
today,
us.
though.
Yeah, but he was like, I'm gonna meow at you and bite. Oh, butts. He's very
There's-
fluffy too.
There's my friend Elena from Wolf Hunts Paranormal. When she does her videos at her home, and she's got her cat back there, like photobombing her all the time.
Oh, yeah.
It's so funny.
See, we didn't get that luxury. We just interviewed her and she was like, my cat's, like is in the room being a butthead. And then she was like, come on. And the cat was like, I'm not doing it. Like, I won't. I was like, damn it. I love cats.
I got a cat also, but he can't come in the studio, so just the
Right.
dog.
So
Even though
what obviously you have a premiere that is out right now,
right now, yeah,
probably about halfway through, but do you have any other videos that you're working on or that you collabed with that maybe are coming out soon?
Yeah, actually, well, next week is going to be the second day of that investigation. And this week, I'm going into Cornwall, Canada, to Cornwall, Ontario, Canada, to investigate the old Cornwall jail, actually. So
Sick. We did one jail, Lincoln County Jail. Don't know if you've ever heard of it before or not.
I heard about.
It's in Norwich.
It's
or-
in Ohio.
Ohio.
Yeah,
About 6 hours from us. And jails are one of the coolest places to investigate, especially old school ones with the like giant metal bars and stuff. It's just like it just takes you back in time. You're like,
Yeah.
where am I right now?
yeah,
Like,
and those old jails are kind of creepy. And we have here in Canada, we have. Oh, I did like it's going to be my third one.
Really? We got to go to
the fir-
Canada.
The first jail that I did was the old Trois-Rivières jail here in Trois-Rivières. It's dates back to 1822.
wow.
Wow.
Well,
So
actually,
how-
it was finished in 1822. From 1815 till
Holy
1819.
shit, that is so
They
old.
ran out of money in 1819, but somebody gave the
Refunded
funds,
after.
and
Yeah.
they finished the jail in 1822. And
Wow.
last year was the 200th anniversary of the jail, and I had the pleasure to investigate it. And I was the first YouTuber to do it, and I was the first camera crew in 20-something years to investigate in there.
That is so cool. So how hard is it, would you say, to get into locations where you are? Because for us, it seems like it is like pulling teeth sometimes to get people to be like willing to let us come investigate.
Oh, it depends of the places.
Yeah.
Like the Trois-Rivières Old Jail, I had really to pull strings because it's a museum. First of all, it's
Yeah, so they're
and-
really, really like, wait a minute.
yeah, and it's the property of the city. So
Mm.
I had really to convince them that I'm not there to scare anybody. I'm just,
Yeah, you're not malicious in any way.
I think
Exactly.
that's the
I'm not
weird
there-
thing to get over. And now
exactly.
nowadays.
I'm not there to play Ouija board or conjure anything. I want to get in contact with the spirits of the because they had hanging on the front porch on a certain time and point in time, and they had people dying in the cells, and so I want to investigate, and I'm gonna do it again because I think that the person that was in charge, well, he stayed with us the whole
Did
investigation.
he? It's awesome.
And he wasn't a believer at the start.
Oh, but
And
by the end of
Oh,
it,
gotta love
by
that.
the end of it, he was like, okay, there's
I'm questioning
something.
everything.
Yeah.
Exactly. So they kind of opened up. The second jail was the one I did in St. Andrews, just like the past month with Lomar Mentz. It dates back to 1832, and that one is a creepy one.
I bet.
You
Say,
want to
that's so
investigate
old.
So,
a freaky ass jail. And the gallows are still there, and the hanging rope is just like right there.
Wow.
wow.
That's insane.
That's
I'm not gonna lie, that's
So-
insane.
And the Cornwall jail, we have other jails here in Canada that dates back to early or mid 19th century.
I love it.
So
I think we need to make a trip to our great north neighbor.
right.
and that's one of my goals. It's to put Canadian paranormal out there and to promote Canadian paranormal and Canadian locations, because I think that, well, let's put it this way. Everything started here. I'm sorry, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
And it is what it is. Like, the
I didn't make up
French-
the history.
Yeah, I'm not.
I'm just the messenger.
I didn't tell Jacques Cartier to go right or instead of go left. So, well, just like knowing that Canada is very, very old, and we have like a bunch of history here that it's just asking for great investigators like you guys, like others from the States to come here and to
Yeah, like 90% of the chat.
well, Dom is from Montreal. I know that Cassie from Ontario, and where Cassie from Whipping Willow Paranormal, she's in the Niagara region, and in that region you have like all the reminiscence of the War of 1812.
That's
You're
so
actually
cool.
not even that far from us. If we're in West Michigan, like we just got to cross the Ambassador's Bridge there, and we're basically almost there.
You got a place in Niagara on the Lake that is called the Old Angel Inn, and it is active as heck.
That's crazy. I've never heard of it either.
There's a British soldier that was killed in the basement by the Americans when the Americans invaded Niagara on the Lake, and
Damn.
they bayoneted to he was hitting into a barrel, and they stabbed the barrel
What?
and they killed him, and
That's
they
so
burned
brutal.
they burned the whole town. They
Damn.
just ransacked and burned the whole town. And you have like the hill where the Americans actually did the battle with the British and the Americans, and you have like the tomb of General Brock, that was the commander of the British force.
Yep.
So all the history right
It's
there.
there.
Here in Quebec, we have the Plains of Abraham, where the British and the French fought in 1759, where Wolfe and Montcalm clashed, and where Wolfe was shot. And you have the lower part of Quebec City that was a part of a big battle and was completely bombed to smithereens, where the British were besieging Quebec in 1759, but the city was attacked by the Americans in 1775.
Huh.
by none other than Benedict Arnold himself.
That's so crazy. That
With
is so
Montgomery.
crazy.
General Montgomery, that was like the right hand of Washington back then.
Mhm.
He came up by Fort Ticonderoga and took Montreal. Montreal was American for a certain part of time.
Hmm.
But when the Americans came on to Quebec City, Montgomery came to the aid of Benedict Arnold, but they got their asses kicked.
Oh yeah.
And Montgomery died, and Benedict Arnold was injured, and they had to run back to Fort Ticonderoga and back to New York State and back to uh, General
Boston.
Washington.
Yeah,
So
Boston and Washington.
Montreal was American for 14 days.
14
Damn.
14
Yep.
days.
14 motherfucking days.
Yeah, so 14
That's
days.
cool.
So all that history that we have here in the valley, all the battles with the native and all the history. You just go to Nova Scotia, where my buddy Lomar is. You have all the French presence, and when the British came, they took over, and they took the Acadians and parked them on two islands, and they would die from diseases and everything. You got those islands where when the Irish were coming from the Great Famine across the ocean, well, like probably 1/3 of the people that were on the boat were dead, like crossing.
Yeah.
So they're buried on some islands down in Nova Scotia and place like that. And
Right. And can you imagine like the amount of activity that happens in these places that nobody knows about either?
Right.
I almost wonder if there's more activity in places that are less traveled.
That's kind of what I've been thinking too.
I just wonder.
Sometimes like all it takes is you to go there and spark the match, and activity just starts going crazy because the spirits are like, oh my gosh, I can tell my story, I can reach for help, I can do whatever it is that they feel that they need to do.
I've noticed that when you go to places that are practically forgotten, that's where you got to have activity. I've been to a fort. It's a readout in Nova Scotia with Lomar. Lomar went there a couple of times, and he told me like, "There's activity, but I came back with them. We had the word tunnel coming through Spirit Talker without knowing that was like another part of a fort that was there in First World War, and in an actual tunnel in the mountain.
Damn.
And we didn't know about that. And that place was active, and Lomar didn't know about that place.
I love
when
that.
I looked at in the history of the place, when I've looked into pictures of or kind of paintings of the place, because back then you didn't have photography, you had painters.
Yeah.
But the place where the bunkers are, those were the piers to go where there's an island across. It's called McNabb's Island, and McNabb's Island was a prison island.
Huh. What a coinky dink.
And people coming in and out of the island would be like probably prisoners, or probably on their 2 feet, or probably in a box.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Definitely.
I would assume so.
And all the history, the bunkers dating from Second World War, we don't know. Probably a soldier and an accident happened. They were dealing with live ammunition and stuff like that. And I've been in the
accidents are
army.
going to happen.
Well, I know that back then, like we've learned from our ancestors, all right, and we still do shit in the army. So back then, they were probably being worse and having accidents all the time. And well, sometimes you do drills, and shit happens.
Right.
You have that, probably that you always have that fuckle guy that will screw something off. Well,
Yeah,
if you're
They probably weren't using dummy guns and drills back then either. They're probably using live ammo. And then,
Exactly.
boom, whoops,
and
killed Johnny.
We weren't. Oh, sorry, buddy. We weren't there. So all that history. So you have to take everything in consideration when you investigate in a place. That all the history, everything, and keep in mind that people have been looking out or trying to discover the paranormal, discover something throughout history. Go as far as the Egyptians, like you said, the Mayans, the Aztecs.
I mean, everything they did was for the afterlife. The game
Exactly.
that they played at Chichen Itza, I forget what the actual name of the game was, but it was literally to die. If you won,
Yeah.
you were sacrificed to the sun god or whatever it was.
I almost feel like we've been asking the same great question ever since mankind could like comprehend what they were thinking of, where it's like, what's after?
Exactly.
Nobody knows.
Right.
That's what they were trying to figure out. Like pharaohs were having those gigantic pyramids or those
Yeah.
gigantic tombs built for them, those temples built because they wanted to satisfy the gods, because they wanted to, like, if they go in the afterlife, they wanted to come back of the afterlife, but they knew the only way to come back from the afterlife was have that kind of vessel.
Yeah, it's like your spaceship.
Exactly. It's the mean to bring you in the afterlife, being judged, and come back if you have to come back. But
yeah, that's why it's always wild when I think about it, where why are the pyramids lined up on the constellations correctly? Why is it that the sun lines up directly with them? It's because they're beacons.
Why is it that multiple different cultures all around the world made giant pyramids for gods?
They're all
And
beacons.
they venerated the gods from the skies.
And there's pyramids that we haven't even discovered because the rainforest has taken them over.
Shoot,
Like,
look at the Anunnaki too.
and yeah, the Anunnaki. I
Like
don't know
that
if
is
you've ever heard of that.
crazy.
Yeah. And you have pyramids in Egypt that are crumbled because they were built with they were doing bricks with the sand, but
Oh yeah.
in time, with erosion, they eroded and they crumbled. But
Also,
they
that
discovered
sandstone that they used isn't even from Egypt.
no.
It's from like Jerusalem somewhere.
Well, you had some that came from modern day Ethiopia and certain part of northern Africa, but they were going really far on the Nile, and the Egyptian Empire was stretching out from modern day Egypt down to modern day Ethiopia or
Right. The whole landscape of Africa looked
Yeah.
different back then too. The Nile River was so much bigger than it is now,
Oh, yeah.
even, and it was so much more lusher in Egypt. Now it's just a desert.
Yeah.
But back when the Egyptians were alive, it was a metropolis of life.
They were the I'm not sure, but I'm not saying they invented irrigation, but
They definitely
There's
had
a very
huge,
high possibility.
because
them,
I
the
know
Mayans,
that
the Aztecs, like
the
the
Mayans
way
and the Aztecs were using irrigation as well. So was it a common technology given by somebody to both civilizations?
Right.
I don't know.
bless you.
Well, spirit, your soul's starting to get out.
Right. Came out of
Jumping out
nowhere.
your nose.
But so what do you think Easter Island is supposed to represent then? So like, because like I've always had a very weird theory about that.
Easter Island are the kings and the gods of the people that the Mohai that were living on that island.
Mhm.
And the island became what it is today because, well, can you imagine transporting those big ass rock statues by hand?
Hell no.
Nope.
You're gonna roll them on something.
Yeah,
Well,
I mean, I want a crane, but
So, well, to build a crane, you'll need wood.
yeah,
You'll need trees. You'll need trees to roll that sucker on. So
yep.
all the trees were kind of killed and used to bury those kind of gods. And
Which is crazy. Like
sorry,
they're
I'm
just
yawning like a crazy. If you really look at every Mohai that have on Easter Island, they all look different.
Yeah, that would make sense. Because I guess my theory was that like you're right that it was like their rulers basically, but I guess I'd always heard that because that they had the extended foreheads and like the way that they do look is very humanoid, but it's not really
Eh,
like.
It's like
Is it
saying
alien?
that
yeah. I guess it's a good point to ask. You believe in
the
aliens?
giraffe necks that certain
Mm.
ladies have in Africa
I mean, I do.
that that could come from a civilization that came from the space, and they had that elongated neck, so they wanted to look like their god, so that's why they had that long neck. I we don't really know.
Yeah.
We weren't there to witness it. And they had some cultures, they were wrapping the head of the people, so
Yeah,
the
like their
cranium
newborns were getting like shaped.
would come elongated.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
that was a custom in a certain and it still is, I think, in certain
I think in some African cultures, yeah.
yes, I think. And I think there are African cultures near Egypt. So
I know there's just so much that you could like people love to draw the parallels between all of it, and it's hard not to because it's all there.
And it all
it,
happened around the same time frame in history too. Like
exactly.
as Egypt's happening, the Mayans are happening on the other side of the world. So like it's crazy to see the similarities in two civilizations that had no idea each other even existed, living almost the same exact style of life.
The same kind of social structure, kind of the
Politically and
political structure. Like he had that king that would represent God on earth, would be the representative of the being
you
from the
think
sky. And
do you think that, like, because I really haven't ever seen too many paranormal videos at these places. Do you think that these places are highly active and like supercharged because of all the like
I would
energy
just
that went into building them?
dream. I would just dream to have the opportunity to investigate just the Valley of the Kings in
Oh
Egypt.
Oh my
man,
gosh.
I know
Uh,
King Tutankhamun.
just any kind of um energy,
Yeah,
kind of place that it would be. I think it would be the wildest dream of any paranormal investigator.
yeah. It'd be a paranormal investigator's wet dream. I would
Oh
agree.
yeah. Oh yeah.
Can you imagine like having a K2 go off, like you're
In a
taking that
stone building with no
that
electricity.
tour in
Right.
that in the pyramids, and you know that your phone is on airplane mode, and all of a sudden that K2 just like freaking out.
Spikes.
Have you ever seen the video of the guy who drives an RC car into the pyramid?
I think that is
showed-
from
Oh
a
yeah.
movie though.
Well,
I don't know if it's real or not.
they found some new tunnels in the pyramids with
Yep. Under the Sphinx, there's a chamber that they don't want to open for preservation reasons as well.
robotic kind of little drones. They found
Mhm.
recently a new tomb that was excavated, they found the queen in there with some priests, and they still discovering day after day new places in
Rewriting the
Egypt.
history books every day.
Yeah, because
We would
when
know all of it if they didn't burn the Library of
Well,
Alexandria.
well, you had when the Egyptian Empire collapsed back in those days. It was kind of a dark time because cataclysm were happening all around the planet, and
Yeah, the Romans were taking over.
Romans were taking
Conquest.
over. You have the Macedonians that were with Alexander the Great and everything that kind of stirred the mix a bit because he went all the way down to Egypt. And when the Egyptian Empire collapsed, that's where everything started like to go, because
Yeah, that's when you've seen the pieces start to fall.
Yeah,
yeah,
I mean,
but you had that well,
Flip back
you had
good.
that big earthquake when Alexandria got kind of swollen by the sea, and no succession in like the
The
pharaohs.
lineage. Yeah.
Yeah, like when Cleopatra died, she the only son that she had was Caesarion, the son she had with Caesar. But he thought as himself more Roman than Egyptian.
Yeah.
yeah,
And the Egyptian religion was forbidden for a certain amount of time. Then the Muslims came, and so
And then look at how everything changes.
yeah.
when you learn, when you know like a small portion, when you just go and you have some channels on YouTube. If you're like only into YouTube, you have a channel, it's called History Hit. Go and watch. You have all sorts of documentaries on everything, on like somebody that will live in the UK say, why my backyard is so haunted? Probably there was a battle in your backyard.
Yeah. You want to
Yeah.
know? Figure it out.
So
And there's history that you can't even find too. Like things were happening on this land in Canada,
before
in
the
the
white
UK,
man came,
before anyone ever was documenting history. So who knows what actually happened and why your
Exactly.
house is going crazy? You don't know what energies are amok.
like
Could have had a velociraptor kill a mammoth.
I laugh when I see videos saying, "Oh, this house is built on native land." They all are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everywhere is.
Every
Like
square inch.
Everywhere
is.
was native land. Everywhere was sacred land.
And guess
Well,
what? There was probably a tribal battle on the property that your house is on because the natives were
Probably.
always at war.
And it was probably an Indian burial ground. Why didn't we find some skulls? Well, probably some animals took them.
Yeah. It's not very uncommon for you to not be able to find remains because animals are scavengers.
If everyone died
Exactly.
in the battle, then there's a lot of food for the wildlife.
Back in the days, during the tribal wars, well,
Brutal.
most of the time they were leaving the bodies on the battlefield.
Yep.
Yeah.
It wasn't the war that we know, like in ranks and the soldiers walking and flags and everything.
It was stabbing and
Stabbing,
chopping,
haxing, and
arrows. Like it was
and
all the
you
most
want-
brutal things you can
exactly. If you were losing, you wanted out, and if you won, you were happy. You weren't like
You
burying the
survived.
bodies
And
or anything. You were just like
scalping people and
scalp
sending
them, take everything that you could, like all the weapons and everything, and off you go.
I just don't think I have it in me to be a soldier.
It was brutal back then, but it was like that.
Yeah, it's the only way to settle differences back then, and
Exactly.
they had a lot of them. Whether it
So-
was, this is my territory and you're not controlling this part of the land because it's, obviously it was all over resources. That's the only thing it could have been for back then. It wasn't, political reasons more or less than it is nowadays. But it was, you have that section of the river. I need to get over there because that's better for my crops. I'm going to go attack you tonight when you're sleeping and burn everything you own. And then I'm going to put my village there.
Woo!
And you had warrior nations, and you had hunter-gatherer nations that they were peaceful, but they had warriors to defend the villages and everything. But the warrior nation will prowl on those peaceful nations, and they will attack them, and they would kill them, and they will kidnap most of them and take everything from them, because it was their way of living.
Yeah. I mean, you can even say, like, look at the Somalia and like those nations right now, how child soldiers are a real thing. It's not anything like here. Like, there's no way you will walk down a street and see like a 12-year-old holding an AK.
Well,
And he's like an authority figure.
Yeah, I've been to Bosnia in 1995. They were doing what was called forced recruiting. They were going into villages, basically kidnapping all able men and throwing on an uniform on them and give them an AK, and you're going over there and go defend the town.
Damn.
So
that is
we
crazy.
had to protect at a certain point all the civilians, the males that we had on the camp. We had to protect them, so they were staying on the camp. We had an argument once with the Serb commander. He wanted those men delivered to him because he wanted to take them as prisoners, and we said no.
Damn.
Because
That's wild.
that was our mission, to protect them. So I've seen with my own eyes what men can do. And let me tell you, that's nothing compared what the Indian would do to each other back then.
Yeah, I was saying that's like a cakewalk, and that's not good.
And back then, it was common for them. It was their way of fighting. And like Dominic is saying from 13th Spear, the massacre in Lachute, they killed 245 settlers. The fort was burned. There's not a trace of it.
Is it one? I'm not familiar with that one, but is it like a spot that you wouldn't, unless you knew the history, you probably wouldn't suspect anything?
Exactly.
That's
because
wild.
we have a thing here in Canada. We want to forget.
Really?
The known of Quebec is Je me souviens, I remember, but we want to forget everything that is part of our history that is like that.
Yeah, where it's like bad.
I feel like that's happening a lot in America too.
Well, in America, you have more.
I feel like it's glorification.
Well, like you go around and where all like the American Revolution or even the Civil War, you have places that are kind of preserved as the battlefield. But
yeah, Gettysburg is a big one.
Yeah, but you have Gettysburg, you have Antietam, you will have probably Richmond or freaking
the Alamo.
The Alamo, or you'll go in Georgia. You have like the Battle of Savannah or all those parts. I miss probably a couple of them, but
yeah, and the Underground Railroad, a lot of the places that were used are still there. But I guess what I was trying to get at with America is like we try to forget political figures, I guess, a lot in our history. And I don't know exactly, what political figures it would be, but it would be like removing their statues and things because
Oh,
of,
like Civil War things, like the
yeah,
Confederate stuff.
because
mostly
well,
Confederate stuff. It seems like there's this push to remove it from our history. And I think, that's the wrong thing to do. It's there. It happened for a reason. And we need to constantly be reminded that humans are not perfect. We never will be. But to be able to, become better, we have to look at our history and go, yeah, that was wrong. Don't do that again. Why were people like that?
yeah, but here we kind of hello, Elena is right there. Wolf on Paranormal, my
Yes,
beautiful
Elena.
Elena. Mwah, my friend. And we have there was a battle of the American Revolution when the Americans retreated. That happened here in Trois-Rivières, and now it's a street. There's a plaque on the top on the rock that says that in 1776, in June 1776, some
Yeah.
American soldiers fought against British soldiers there, and beside of that
It's just
rock,
a plaque, though,
exactly.
right? Like it's not like it's like a place where people are like, "Well, we're gonna go here
Well, go and like
and see the
probably
plaque
like
at least." Yeah,
do a park or something like.
yeah,
Like the only real battlefield that we still have here is the Plains of Abraham. That's and even though there's a part of the battlefield, but most of the what was once a battlefield or streets, like where Wolf died, the monument where he died is like right in the middle of a roundabout.
yeah. So it's like everything's urbanized now.
Yeah. See, one thing I've always wanted to do is like go to, say, a battlefield after they do a reenactment on the battlefield, do a paranormal investigation, because I bet you shit goes crazy. I bet you could hear phantom gun sounds. I bet you could trigger all of that stuff to happen. It's almost like you can hear the war again.
I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure because it's gonna stir up pretty nasty things probably, and memories and energies that will certainly get something. Just go at Gettysburg, and Gettysburg, just being there, just looking at documentaries on Gettysburg, you can feel the heaviness of
Yeah.
everything that happened. And Tatum is the same. Dum was talking about Bentonville. Bentonville had two freaking major battles, one in the Revolution and one in the freaking Civil War. So
Hear the cannons booming in the night.
yeah, and I heard people in Quebec City say, "Hey, where go over there? There's reenactors doing in uniforms and
Yeah.
and what?
There's nothing scheduled.
And there's
no
nothing
reenactment.
schedules, and
Yeah.
you arrive there and there's nobody."
And you're
But-
like, where are the cars? What's going on?
And people, well, said that they've seen people like in British or French uniforms, and they thought they were reenactors.
That's crazy. And I mean, I can totally see that happening. If you didn't know better, like, and you see somebody dressed like that, you're just like, oh, he must be reenacting the war.
Yeah,
You're not
literally.
gonna think
Something
like,
that.
oh yeah, that's a
This-
spirit. Like,
This summer, I'm gonna go investigate the place. You still have the layout on the ground. The ruins of the church is still there in 1759. In August 1759, the British burned that church with the priest in it and some of his people.
an appearance by the doggy.
That's my Bonnie. She's my service dog.
I love it. What a sweetheart.
Yeah. Say hello. She wants to go out. That's why. No, down, go, down, sit. Good girl. There you
Wish my dog was that well trained.
go.
So it's actually thunderstorm where we're at right now. It makes me bring up my next question. Do you think weather impacts spiritual activity in a haunted location?
It is
Or-
really booming.
I guess anywhere could
Yeah.
actually, we could just say the world's haunted at this point, really, with the theories we got.
Well, thunderstorm, you'll bring massive burst and charge of EMF coming from the lightning. So you will feed. It's like putting a plasma ball outside in a space where you have entities. You will feed them energy. It's the same thing. You will give lightning to entities. You will give them pure energy.
Yeah, it's kind of
Um,
like connecting the flashlight, like completing that circuit. That
Exactly. Full moon, a full moon where the realm of the between the living and the dead become to its finest.
like the veil's its thinnest.
And yeah, and the equinox or the solstice. You go in between seasons.
Yep.
The equinox between fall and summer. No, sorry. Between winter and spring, and between spring and summer is the equinox. So those where like the sun is at its highest point, or those, I believe in that, because
Right.
before us, druids and other believers were having those as special days. Then they were like talking to the spirits, to the gods, to at certain period in time. Full moon, new moon, all those
I guess you could call them cycles.
Yeah,
all
cycles
all
of
the moon
nature.
cycles.
Yeah.
They all correlate. I agree with you to paranormal activity being heightened, because like we experienced it firsthand multiple times. We investigated Lincoln County Jail during an insane lightning storm, and it was
Yeah, it was
super
downpouring right
active.
before that. And it started
Then we
lightning.
investigated a cemetery here during a heat lightning storm, and we
Hmm.
caught the greatest evidence we've ever caught.
Yeah, it was wild.
So I'm definitely 100% am with you that all of those things, sometimes when they just line up perfectly, you got a storm on a full moon, it's just craziness just ensues, because the veil is like super thin and there's so much energy just charging the air, whether you're inside or outside, it doesn't matter.
Nope. And even
'Cause
day
the
and
atoms are
night,
still bouncing off each other.
you could go someplace during the day and you will have crazy activity. You will go back in the night and
I
nothing.
agree with you there. It does not make a difference. I
No.
feel like a lot of times paranormal investigators, they shoot for the nighttime because that is the most spookiest time for sure.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
paranormal shit will happen just as likely during the day as it would in the nighttime at 3 a.m. Like you're
Exactly.
just as likely, if your house is haunted, to have a book fall off the shelf, fly across the room, whatever it is that happens at your house in the daytime as you are at 2 a.m. that wakes you up in the middle of the night.
All hauntings, like the Amityville, or you take freaking Conjuring House, and all those places, they have activity all the time, all the freaking time. So
yeah, I mean, they say too, like, you don't really get the full perspective, I guess is the best way to use, of a location that you're investigating unless you spend the full like week there, or more than just a couple of hours.
Ed and Lorraine Warren's theory of 28 days, that it takes 28 days for a spirit to really adjust to creating chaos with you, I guess.
even investigating overnight, like, oh, hey, I've been there 8 hours, And I'm pretty sure you're going from that place and you say, I have unfinished business.
Yep.
Right. I
All
feel
the
that a lot.
spots, all
I-
the spots, Innsdale, I'm going back. I'm
Mhm.
I'm giving you I'm going back. I have unfinished business there. I've been overnight. Do I have to spend 2 days? I will probably do it, but I'm the guy who is down to spend an whole weekend into a haunted spot
Yep.
just to investigate the place.
Yeah. That's how
Uh,
curious I am too. Like I want to know.
I want to sleep there. I want to feel the place. Some people, oh, I'm gonna shit my pants.
Well, cool.
Well,
Have you
cool.
had that moment
Nope.
that you just like lost it? Like had
Like the
something happen?
scary moment.
There. After spending 6 months in a war zone,
Yeah, I don't
wearing
think
a-
anything could
okay.
shake you.
Fair.
wearing a blue
Very poised.
beret, then you're blue. You're a target all the time.
Yep.
No, not after that grenade blew like 30 feet from
No
me.
way.
No.
Ghost, not a chance. Not fearing that.
I will sometimes be kind of startled.
Yeah.
Some stuff can surprise me.
Yeah, I think that's a good way of saying it too. Is like I don't get scared usually. I get surprised.
It's a different
What-
feel. It's a
yeah.
different kind of feeling, I think. It isn't really scared as it is like an anxiety attack mixed with excitement and mixed with I don't know what I'm feeling right now.
Because when I'm scared, I punch.
Yeah. Start swinging.
Fight or flight or fight.
I'm not the flight type. I'm the fight type.
That's too funny.
So when I was investigating with Lomar Mens, my buddy, and Halifax in the bunker, and I seen something, a dark shadow from the corner of my eye, and it made me jump. I jumped
Yeah.
sideways and I fell and said, "What the frig is that?" But
But you weren't like, I'm leaving.
No, I was going around investigate. I want
Mm.
if I see a head pop out from a doorway, I will run to see.
Yep, you gotta
what is
charge
it.
it.
Yes, that's how we are too. Like
It's literally exactly
it's
what we
If
do.
we see a shadow or okay, we literally have a video where we're at a cemetery and I seen something move in the distance and I ran after it. Trevor didn't see it. I didn't tell him what I was running at.
I just watched
And
him
he's
run
just
away.
like,
I
what
was
the
like, what
frick
the fuck
is
is
going on?
happening?
And then I come walking back. It was a bag.
Oh yeah,
Like,
then
you gotta
you
go
should
for
see
it.
me. You should see me punch a ghost. That's no.
Imagine
but
if you connect though. Like the first swing, you just
you
you're like,
swing
this is
one
gonna be
and
nothing, then bop.
you get
What?
you feel something and you see that dust coming. Whoop!
Yeah,
Sorry,
like
man.
falls through the floor. You're like, what?
But I've asked entities close doors, move stuff, throw. I had a BB when I was doing that prison for boys in Shelburne, Nova Scotia. It used to be a airsoft place to
I love
play.
that.
And
So fun.
there was like airsoft BBs all over the place, and I had an actual BB thrown at me.
Huh.
And and you can hear the tick of
Yeah,
the BB in the video. And
Yep.
I said, well, if you can throw BB, close the door. I know you've did it.
Yep.
Hey, Monster Radio Warrior, man. And I asked, close the door. You want to impress me? You want to scare me? Close a door.
Yeah, if you can physically touch this stuff, do something big.
Right.
Do something. Scare me out. You want to scare me? Scare me out. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
we say that all the time. If you're gonna get us, if you want us to leave, you gotta make
It's gotta be
us.
drastic.
It's gotta be something that really gets us.
Exactly.
I'm talking like
So-
every cupboard door and every door in the whole room. just
Right, like
woof.
you see in the spooky spoofs all the time. Like
If that really happened, I probably would like. I need to get out of this room for like 2 seconds. Like, whoa.
I would go investigate it seeing that it's nobody, there's nothing,
Mm.
probably I would like take a breather, take a 5,
Yeah,
and
but oh.
try to kind of assimilate what just happened.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah, like, okay, how can I make it so everything opens on its own? I can't.
It was just a
like I
glitch in the
had
matrix. It
my
was-
first paranormal experience in life. It was about 1994. I was playing with a Ouija board with a friend, and I believed, but like, it's just a game. Like
That's how I started out too.
you're gonna push the thing with your hands and
Yeah,
everything.
it's all you fucking around. It's not the
Exactly.
thing.
Quit moving it.
And we were playing in a house. That was a story about a guy that hung himself, and because his daughter was hit by the train, there's a house near a train track where I live.
Jesus God, that's dark.
And yeah, and like, that's like, go ahead. And I shit you not the planchette, but the whole board did a 180.
Oh,
What the fuck? You're the first person that has ever told me that the board moved
The
outside
board
of the
did an
planchette.
actual 180 like that.
Did he?
Oh yeah,
The
you did.
planchette
did tell
stood still, and you could hear the board like somebody was pushing on the board, turning it.
Yeah, and all of you have your hands on the planchette, not the board.
I was my hand on the planchette. I looked at my friend and said, "What the we do?" He said, "Go to
Yeah.
goodbye and F out of here." And that's
Yep.
what we did.
I'm glad you guys closed the board too, instead of just like, oh, I'm done.
I
I
don't think I've
was
ever
going
closed the board.
out. I was
Yeah.
going out, and he told me, "Whoa, we have to close because he's gonna follow you." So, your mumbo jumbo. I'm going in Bosnia in 2 months. I don't care.
Yeah, this
Like,
is all
what?
bullshit.
And I was just about to go on my mission. I was with my friends, like getting some quality time before going on mission,
Yep.
and that shit happened. And it kind of it rumbles me, and
it sticks, but you also are kind of like,
and to
Huh.
to this day, I still want to know what it was.
right? So do you like vividly remember it? Because this is how I get like my first encounter
Oh.
with the paranormal. Like
Just
it
the
was
board.
almost like I can live it again.
I just see the board again.
Really? Yeah.
Everything is kind of blurry, but being there on the living room table and just playing that stupid game, and I said to myself, never again.
Really,
Never.
yeah.
I will assist. I will assist to.
But you're
people
not going to be
doing
the
it.
one that's initiating all of it,
Nope.
and doing it.
No, I won't go there. You have too much dark shit that can come
Yeah.
through. But
I believe it's a portal, like for sure. Like how mirrors can be a portal. How like
Yeah,
it's almost like you can open the door for it.
I would
Monster
go.
Radio asks a good question.
No, I never used a Ouija board to investigate one of the Wendigo. And
I want to now.
I don't know. Like I said, yes, the Wendigo is an old story written by a Jesuit monk, a story that was told to him by an old lady. But all legends come from a certain reality. I know back then, because it's really hard for me to kind of have a not a belief, but it's hard. It's like all your life you're being said that the wall is yellow.
Yeah, it's like the precedent is set where it's like it's always been this.
Yeah, and all my life the Wendigo was a legend.
Mhm.
And I've learned about it as a legend. I've checked the historical facts that deemed it as a legend, and when you put your yeah, right, which is session on the plains of Abraham, yeah, right, you're gonna see the French and the British comes.
You'll be
Right.
sitting in the
Oh,
middle of the battle.
yeah, right, muskets flying all over the place.
Straight ghost
Uh,
bullet.
Get a
but
musket ball at the forearm.
I'm not the person that would say it could not exist. I know that back then was more to qualify the Iroquois warriors and to kind of keep the youngsters in the community and like have them like being good boys and good girls. But for me, it
I
was like kind of like the Sandman, but
Yeah.
yeah,
in the native
Good way of saying
culture.
it.
yeah, we
And
talked about it a little bit in that live stream that we were in. That
yeah,
it's like the boogeyman.
exactly. And I would more believe in the Bigfoot. I would.
It's real.
I my theory is that the Bigfoot is the link between the missing link between man and the ape. And when
That would make
uh,
sense.
the glacier era came, well, they were living probably in caves somewhere. Um, um, you know, in the Himalayas, you have the Yeti.
Yep.
So,
Mhm.
in my opinion, would be Yetis that migrated
That
during
yeah.
the Ice Age.
Yep.
They
Or like how
migrated,
Pangea was a thing.
yeah, but they kind of migrated over the Detroit of Bering,
Yeah, see the land
and
bridge and whatnot.
they just came in North America and adapted to the environment they would come,
Yeah.
and
I'm
that
right there with you.
I mean, the Galapagos is a great way of saying like that stuff is real. Like you can have birds on 2 different islands that adapted differently because they needed to.
just the dodo.
Yeah.
The dodo is the best example. That bird had no land predator. So why use my wings?
Yeah.
I'm
I can walk.
I'm gonna develop myself in other places than my wings. I don't need them to fly
Now I
anymore.
don't.
Right, or like an
But I'm a
ostrich.
bird.
You know,
Yeah,
they don't need wings. They can run really fast. Why
they
would they need to
adapted.
fly?
They adapted to the environment they're living, and it's the same. The Yeti will have a white fur because he lives in the mountains and in the snow, and he have to blend in with the environment. That's why he's white. And when they came across, well, they adapted to being in the forest, so they became brownish. They, well, probably became dirty because they were rolling in the mud and everything. So they changed.
Yeah, I could totally see that. Like they would be like as a species, they would be like, oh my gosh, we're standing out. Like we're dropping numbers by the predators that they probably did have when they crossed the strait, like the saber tooth and like all of those bigger ice age, you know,
I've seen with my own
dinosaurs
eyes.
basically.
I've seen with my own eyes a fossilized trunk of a palm tree in the North Pole.
That's not supposed to be there.
Well, it was.
I know what you
tropical,
mean, but it's like that's not supposed to be there.
That's not
That's so
supposed to
cool,
be
though.
there. But once
It was.
when the earth fractured, well, you have part of the earth that was subtropical freaking temperatures, and when that big rock hit the earth and like wipe all those dinosaurs. I'm gonna
Bless
say
you.
Your
Dude, it happened
soul
to me
wants
too.
to leave.
It's so funny.
yeah. uh, when everything became ice, certain species survived because they adapted to the cold. Certain species passed away because they couldn't. they were made for the cold. Some
Mm.
animals had fur, had feathers. They knew, but after a period of time, they lacked the food or anything. But I'm pretty sure that the Yetis or the Bigfoots, um, they were the smart ones.
Yeah,
Uh,
I would
they
agree.
they stacked food, and they kind of they were like kind of living in a society, and they were probably having goods stashed somewhere, or
Right. If
stuff.
you're a nomadic creature, you're going to learn how to survive regardless of your environment because you're already nomadic. You already know how to persevere through adversity
Exactly.
naturally.
If turtles and crocodiles and other reptilians could go through
Sharks.
that period, sharks, they were megalodon back then, but certain types of animals survived that ice age. Like, you have animals that became the animals that we know today, but
Didn't look like that a million years ago.
No.
exactly, but
In a million years in the history of Earth is actually a very slim time. Like that
like
timeline is
felines.
tiny.
Yeah,
Really?
well, like saber-tooth felines. They had like saber-tooth tigers, lions, and you had saber-tooth felines, but they they survived. The felines, the species somewhere, and they got it, you know, and it's all those animals that now are like extinct that makes me believe that a being deemed with a certain intelligence,
Mm.
if monkeys can take over a city, why why a being that
Can't hide
is like
from everyone.
probably more intelligent than a normal primate wouldn't be the ability to hide himself,
Yep.
gather food, create a society that he will live
Yeah.
in and be happy in? Why not?
We also at one point touched on the idea that Bigfoot could be an interdimensional traveler as well. Like
You
there's
could.
almost like we're a pocket dimension for him. So like he just pops in for a second and then pops out.
I think a lot of
There's a
cryptics are like
possibility for
that.
that.
Like
There's a
Mothman could be like that
possibility,
too.
but
It's super out there. I'm not
It's
saying it's
really out
not.
yeah,
there.
but like if you want to stay with like the rational kind of thinking, you go with like if you go with the part of like an animal being an extinct that could still exist instead of like being interdimensional,
Right.
you'll because
I guess it'd be
what
more realistic to say to like in like a megalodon case, if you look deep in the ocean that we can't get to, well, here's an earthquake that opens up a fissure into a part of the earth that we really don't have much information about, and then something comes out of it that hasn't been around in a long, long time. Oh, there you go.
yeah, like Monster Radio says, like apes are increasing in intelligence. Yeah, the orangutan, they spotted a
The
tribe
lizard
of
species would be crazy.
orangutan in I think it's in Borneo, that they saw them fishing with spears.
That's like,
Uh,
wait, what?
chimpanzees use pieces of A to put into the holes to eat ants
The bugs, right? Yeah. Yep.
Yep, I heard
and
about that.
termites.
Baboons do some interesting things too. I don't know exactly what they do, but I know they've learned of baboons doing some really like tool primitive type.
I mean, look at orangutans, dude. Some of them are literally like communicating through sign language.
You have the dumbest primate of all, that is the macaque. that are freaking taking over freaking towns in Southeast
Right.
Asia.
Are those the ones that like steal jewelry and like trick tourists into giving
Yep.
them food?
Yeah, they're
and,
just like notoriously
yeah,
shitty.
and then they
they
went
just
crazy
just
during
take it.
COVID.
They just take it, but it's in their nature.
Yep. And they have a high enough intelligence to give off the persona of being friendly enough to get close enough to do it too.
Yep.
Well,
And as
it
soon as
will-
they get what they want, they're just evil.
Exactly. You see those freaking, they go and they steal freaking handbags from ladies, and they go into the handbag and they go for the food. They throw the other shit they don't want. They want the food.
Yeah, they know exactly what they want.
Exactly.
It's definitely
They will
feral.
eat
It's a
that
feral
shit. Oh,
move.
Crazy. Oh, Tootsie Roll. Oh.
You,
Fuck
oh
that
yeah, you will give them anything. Gum, it's eatable. They will eat it. They freaking sometimes they will be about to die. You will give them something to eat. They will eat it. They're the
It sounds
dumbest-
like my cat, dude. No, it
They're
sounds
the
like my cats at home
dumbest
where they're
ape
like,
out there. People say, "Oh, they're highly intelligent." Yeah, right. Put a fruit into a bowl, a jar. He's gonna
Watch him fight.
stay there. He's gonna lose his hand because he wants that fucking piece of food. But
the
same
same
the
animal that
eats
chimpanzee,
poop.
That's how you
The-
hunt for raccoons. You get, you get some tuna fish and you put it in a spot and they
Yep.
got to reach their hand. They will not let go of that tuna fish until they can
And-
get it out.
exactly. That's how you catch a
So
macaque
fucking
monkey.
wild.
You put food into a hole that is small enough, they will get his hand. But when he try to pull his hand close, he won't get out. That's the way to catch a macaque. Try
So
to catch a chimpanzee with that. He's gonna break the freaking thing and he's gonna eat. That's what.
so
he's gonna
I
do.
guess like to relate this back to like kind of paranormal stuff, do you think that the like the ion chargers that put energy into like a place you're investigating, like the handheld like energy devices that are supposed to like give energy to the spirits, do you think those are like a real thing that they
Yeah,
actually work, or do you think it's more of a
Like the
money
EMF
grab?
pumpers.
like a plasma ball. I can show you.
Yeah, have you seen the people doing experiments with that lately?
No,
It's
I
like
have no
the
idea what you guys
plasma
are
ball.
talking about.
Isn't it like the plasma ball you can get at like the adult
Amazon.
stores and stuff?
Amazon, I love Amazon. I have a very love-hate
They
relationship
have
with
them at
it.
like Spencer's and stuff like that.
Really?
Yeah.
I've never heard of this.
Dude, you know exactly what it is. Yeah.
Oh, one of those.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
what it's called.
Yeah, you like put your hand on it and like follow it around.
That little
Yeah, I
ball
feel dumb now.
produce
Yeah,
so
people have been
much
experimenting with that a lot.
EMF that you wouldn't believe. Look at the size of that thing. Okay,
Yep.
it's fairly small, right?
Mhm.
Dude, we gotta get one.
Yeah, we do.
If I tell you that I can
Cheap.
trigger my REM pod just by touching at it, without touching the REM pod, the REM pod's gonna be right over there. I'm gonna be touching the ball, the REM pod's gonna go off.
Okay.
You want to see it?
Yes.
Yes.
I do.
100%. I love
do.
demonstrations.
Live demonstration for you.
Science.
I've discovered that.
I don't know where that fit
I
in, but
actually
it
discovered
was
that
fun.
at Hinsdale
That's
because
so cool.
Frank.
I like how we went from
Yeah, I
history
didn't-
to science.
I've been seeing people do this. It's pretty freaking
all
incredible. I've seen it on
science.
investigations, but not like this.
History is a science, so.
Yes.
But
It's the only class I got straight A's in for some reason.
It's
have
the
to
most
know
interesting
that-
one to me.
Yeah.
entities are energy. Like I was saying, when you pass away, that energy is liberated. So
Yep.
it's like that. It's energy.
That
Okay.
looks so cool. I love it.
And I got a little Santa in it too.
I love that.
Red bot. Good old Rampod.
Good old REM pod.
Good
Trusty.
old Rampod. Okay. Just 2 lights. Okay.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm gonna move you
Here we go.
around.
We're on the move.
We're on the move. Live and direct.
Okay. having the REM pod down there. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah,
Oh my
it's
gosh.
working. Yep.
You're completing the circuit.
That is so fucking cool. I'm not gonna lie. Because I honestly didn't know if it was
So
if it was a money grab or not.
No, dude.
so if you want to fake your paranormal investigation, are you in the room with me?
Oh, are
It's
people doing
doable.
that?
It's doable.
You guys.
But,
Well,
like, damn.
I will tell you this, that they are paranormal investigators or creators out there that they deem to be paranormal investigators that know
But they're
that
really
trick,
not.
and they're using that trick to trick you out of saying that they are real paranormal investigators and they catch ghosts on every investigation that they go, and they have that wow factor every time going paranormal. Or most
Bless
likely,
you.
or oh my gosh, well, I got a cough.
God
But
bless.
you know, those guys that know certain tricks, and well,
Yeah.
Man,
you
I
know
wouldn't
now that you can't fake a REM pod.
Damn.
see. I didn't
know you could do
I
that.
didn't know it did that, but I know people are using it
Science.
as like an EMF pump because it is creating energy. Obviously, you're literally shooting it through your finger at the REM pod. Like,
Yeah, but what's better though? Just like the baseline where it's like the room is just charged itself and then you get some crazy shit, or when you have energy being pumped into it, so there's less of like a normal baseline there. So it's
Exactly.
being tampered with, I guess you'd say.
It's you're just moving the energy. You're just giving to your body more energy that you usually have. But that
Yeah.
energy goes through your body directly to the REM pod. And unfortunately, I discovered that at Hinsdale with Frank when he was trying to do the experiment with the doll. He wanted to charge up the doll, but when he touched the ball, all the REM pods went haywire. And then I realized that he was actually getting that energy through his body. Then I started to question certain creators that all the time when they go out,
The REM pod just goes crazy.
their REM pod goes crazy in investigations. And
Are they going off?
and the thing is in the box.
That's wild.
Dude,
Do
my
you-
house is
do you
brand
think, though,
new.
that you think there could be residual energy from the pump being in the room, though?
From the pump, probably.
That could make sense.
From the ball. My phone is not on airplane mode. I'm using my
Right,
laptop
the
on
mic's
the
a lot of
Wi-Fi.
energy here.
There's lots of energy, and you have to understand too that Earth, you have energy coming from the Earth always. You have EMF coming from the Earth all the time, so you have to keep in mind that that energy can come from anywhere, but it's kind of kind of weird to have REM pod hits into
Yeah.
my house that is
Yeah.
fairly new. But back before the white man was here, here in where my city is called the Shawinigan. It's an Indian name.
Winningen.
Yeah, it's main waterfall. And here, my city grandmother was a big Indian settlement because there's a large waterfall near I live. And usually the settlements, the larger settlements will settle near big
Water. Yeah.
waterfalls or stuff like I'm getting REM pod hits in my freaking home. No, that's my dog. Dude,
Oh, that's amazing.
dude. I'm not Lee from Really Haunted. I'm not the guy in UK that will pretend that my house is haunted. No, it is not. Did you follow me from an investigation? Nope.
Nope.
Are you proper to the land? Oh, shite. It
Did
beeps.
it go off?
Yeah.
It beeped?
I said that you're proper to the land and it beeps. Just to confirm, to really know you're proper to the land, right? If it beeps again, man, I'm moving.
I'm moving.
Honey,
On the
we're
market
moving.
On
That's
the market
crazy.
tomorrow.
Man, that is weird because my house is 12 years old. And well, like I said, I don't know. The land could be, you never know. So, well, now
you
you
really
know
don't.
that when you watch those big creators, when they have like those massive rampart hits on command, ask yourself some questions. I won't say they will always do it. They won't. I'm not saying that. But they didn't get to like a million subscribers or 750 something thousand or whatever, just by being honest.
Unfortunately.
Unfortunately, that is how the
Unfortunately.
world works.
And
We try to be as honest as possible because there's nothing more important than getting real, factual, scientific proof that
exactly. And
something is beyond death.
we want that. We want to get that answer. And having those people that, if they want to give a show, I don't have a problem with that. No problem at all. But yeah, oh my gosh. Yeah, Monster Radio, boy, that was using a plasma ball. Oh my gosh. I didn't thought of that one. But yeah, it makes us people will come and watch our videos and they're gonna say, well, he's like all the others, he's faking.
Right. Or it can be everything that you capture in a night, unedited, uncut, no scripts, no, little things to change the mood of the investigation. You're getting it how it happened. It's either, you stay tuned in and enjoy it for, the person that created the video's hard work, because even creating a video with no cuts is not easy.
No. Not at all.
It's really hard. You want to put everything to get it appealing to your viewers. You want to put like sometimes subtitles so your viewers can hear. And those things are hard. And reviewing all the footage. Sometimes you will have more than one camera, so you want to review. So we want to be as genuine as we can be, but having those people playing those tricks, well, makes our work kind of harder.
Right. And then you'll never be able to tell who's doing it and who isn't. That's, I guess, the
Yeah, and
reality
like-
of that little trick too. You
Yeah,
could do
and
it
like
off camera so easily.
dude. There's even people buying freaking green suits off eBay to make stuff move in their home.
Oh, and then green screen themselves out, basically, right? Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. I'm following the Shape, Beardo Got Scared, and Mr. Gray in the UK because those guys spot the things that normal people like me. I've learned editing. I learn editing as I go. I don't have a movie or cinema or any kind of multimedia background. I'm learning as I
Me
go.
either.
Yep.
We have none.
We're all self-taught.
We literally just
Exactly.
decided one day we're doing a podcast, and then we're like, let's make videos, and then it's just been a whole thing. I had never made a video. I made like a Bigfoot hoax video in like 8th grade once, but it was barely edited, and it was just like a recording when we stopped it, when we restarted it, like, and we put it on a
Exactly.
DVD.
But you have people out there that are freaking good with
Yeah,
editing softwares
crazy good.
and overlays and freaking filters and everything. So it is hard for us to try to bring great, genuine paranormal investigations when you have those big names just doing entertainment out there. It's like,
Right. And the thing is, too, it's somewhat you see now with paranormal getting so big. We've talked about this before, is that it's becoming more of an industry than it is like a science or a study that people are trying to investigate. People are making money off of this. So if you think about it, it's great. People are making money off the history and owning the land and preserving it for us to research and to, look back on it. But at the same time, there's this push for, making people pay as an amusement of entertainment, because we have gone on Ghost Hunt USA's, and it puts a whole different aspect into it for you. You realize that it's people putting on a presentation sometimes, and it seems rehearsed because they do it night after night after night, and they tell the same story, and like sometimes it seems a little less genuine in that aspect.
but the thing that gets to me, it's the way. I'm sorry, but I will talk off my. I that's my take on that. That is my take. It's not the guy's take on that. It is my take. I sometimes feel they scam people because
Yeah.
some of them, you don't have to give. You don't have to give. But if you want some more crazy investigation, please help us. They're just saying to their viewers, give us money and we'll go investigate. If you don't give us money, well, we won't.
We don't have nothing for you.
Exactly. It's like, are you being real? If people wants to give you money because they want to, because out of their heart they say, hey, he's doing a great job, I want to encourage that person, I want to be a sponsor out of him. Not saying, I will pay for his next trip to, I don't know, the UK or anywhere else.
Right. And I feel like a lot of times too, like it's great for the people that get those opportunities. I'm not knocking it at all. And I know you're not. It's fantastic, to make a living off doing this is a dream that all of us paranormal investigators have. We would love to do this full time and do nothing more but to learn the history and
yes,
experience all of this, because
yes,
it's
but
all in
don't
our
trick people.
journey.
Yeah, but
don't be a hoaxer.
Don't trick people on giving money, like saying, if you want that next big investigation or you want us to go there, please help us. Or no, if you go somewhere to investigate and document it and present it to your viewer, it's because you wanted to go there, you wanted to pay for it. If people give money to you because they're satisfied what they're seeing, what you're giving it back to them, for me, it it's fine, but don't start saying, "Oh, my house is haunted. Please help me to move." And like 2 years after, you're living
Yeah.
in the same shitty house,
Mm.
or trying to say, "Well, or I'm sick. I'm having so and," and I'm not saying that people have done it. Saying I have cancer, and finally you see the guy is like in Vegas like 2 months afterwards and
Yep.
saying, "Hey, I'm in Vegas having
I'm
fun."
cured.
No,
Yeah, I'm
yeah, you see
cured
that. You see that stuff happen on the internet all the time.
all
All
the
the
time.
time.
But
It's
it's
tough.
when
It's tough these days to trust people with so many people in the world and social media and the things you can do with the camera and everything. You never know what to believe in. It relates with the paranormal world as well and the cryptic world, because there's always going to be those hoaxers out there. There's always going to be people tricking for a dime and
like
making friends.
I know we want all to advertise our stuff. We want all to have our like. I have merch. I sold one T-shirt. I'm
Right. I
mindful.
think most of our merch sales are from
I'm
us
my
buying
best
it.
client.
Yeah,
All right.
hey.
I am my
He's
best client.
that double discount.
But if somebody buys a piece of merch of my store, I'm gonna be happy because
Oh yeah. It
I,
directly relates
that
to
little
supporting the podcast or
$3 5
yeah.
dollars, well, I'm gonna buy a coffee with it. I'm not saying if people say I want to encourage them, I want to be a part of that. I want to buy like a mug or a shirt, a beanie or a hat. You're you're helping him. You're saying you're doing a good job. I'm not being like a freaking NASCAR or Formula One driver before all my videos, like saying all like, don't forget the merch and everything. You feel like you're being a salesman and you're not introducing your investigation. You're being a salesman. Like, all right, pop it up, but don't be like 10 minutes saying that you have like stuff to freaking sell, or you have an app that will help you. Oh, because I have somebody in head that
Oh no.
it gets to me.
I
It
bet.
just
I mean, it would get to me
gets
too.
The guy, he's like he's saying that he's a paranormal investigator, and he goes around and he advertises shit most of his videos.
Yeah. And a lot of people are doing that. That's how you make some good money, I suppose.
I will
Wild.
Being a
advertise.
sellout.
I will advertise as well. I will advertise my shit as well, but I won't blast years of
They're
my
not Bible
viewers
thumping.
like for 15-20 minutes, just like, don't forget the merch.
Yeah, that's pretty much what we do. At the end of our episodes, we're usually just like, hey, we have a merch store too. You can find it here.
Yeah, all the links are in
It's
the
all cool
description.
stuff. It fits nice and it's good quality.
Exactly. And you just like have a little segment of it, but you're not going.
It's not every 10
Oh,
minutes.
at first, I saw the style that was the trend, and I was like trying to get that style. And at a certain time, I said, don't try to be somebody else. Be yourself.
Yeah, don't be something you're not.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, we've tried it a little bit with some of our thumbnails, like cropping in
The
the
clickbaits.
super large
What-
photo of yourself with like an image transposed in the back with big text that doesn't even relate. Like we've
Well,
tried
it sells. It sells. Like, if you want to, I can show you my last thumbnail. I just love it.
Yeah, pull it up.
And I had help by my good friend Lomar. I'm gonna just move it right there.
But yeah, we're definitely like that. I mean, you see our social media posts. We keep we've kind of kept like the same look because my idea is the algorithm will recognize the look and just
There you
keep
go.
like helping you.
And you
But
don't, and sometimes you have to use the word like demon, evil. Uh,
oh yeah, here we go.
you'll have to. Yes, they're clickbait words. Look,
Yeah, that's exactly what. Yeah, it's freaking awesome.
people wants to see you, wants to see the house you're investigating, wants to see the people we're collaborating with.
Right.
So you're just giving them what they want. And I've tried other style of thumbnails, didn't work. I went to that style and started working. So
Yeah, the new one
most,
that we've been doing has kind of been working out for us, which is cool.
and
Plus, I like it. Like, I think it looks cool. Like,
I've seen cringy movies like movies that would like basically just go out at the VHS store back then.
Yeah.
Not even in theater, just like right in VHS. But they would do like that kick-ass freaking cover on their cassette. But you watch the movie and say, "What's that shit?" But they gave everything on the cover.
Oh yeah, they gave
It's
away everything.
it's the same in YouTube. You sometimes
Yeah.
you'll have to get your VHS cassette box a little bit of pizzazz.
Right. You gotta spice.
yeah,
So yeah, it's a hard world, but like I said, sometimes it gets to me that fakers would get more attention, but they're good. They're good at what they're doing, and it's just for us to keep at what we're doing, being good investigators and being as genuine as we are. So
Yeah, I think
Exactly.
people will gravitate towards that in the end anyway, where it's like, if I can't realistically make sense that this is like what really happened, then yeah, I want to watch somebody who shows me every little detail, that there's no difference that I can discern that from what they did to why that happened. But then you'll see the cool videos where it's just like jump cut, jump cut, jump cut, jump
Mm,
cut. It's like, well,
exactly.
how did we get here? So,
punchline, punchline, punchline,
Yeah,
punchline.
exactly. And stuff flying all over the place all the time, and rampart hits and freaking EVPs and voices that can come out of nowhere but are really in fact like overlaid after and stuff
yeah.
like that. You won't have that pizzazz, that wow factor all the time. If
Mm-mm.
you have it, ask yourself questions.
Right. You might be a little more spiritual connected than you really think that you might be. And like,
Yeah, or that person is like bullshitting you behind your back and you're being taken for a ride and you don't even know about it. And the first thing you know, and that person's going to be called out because he's faking and you're going to be cut in the crossfire. And your reputation's going to take probably a fall because people will say, oh, he fakes, then he fakes. You know?
Yep.
yep. That's what happened with the show Ghost Hunters, right? The one guy got caught faking it on live TV, and then they removed him from the show, and then
And
the
then
show
kind of just fizzled.
didn't work because everyone was like, "Well, how much other stuff did they fake?"
Yeah.
That's just what we
Exactly.
caught them. How much other stuff was fake?
Yeah, we're
Exactly.
10 seasons in.
Fortunately, Ghost Hunters is back on TV, so that's
Well,
freaking
yeah, I
awesome.
heard about it, and even
That's the show that really like sparked everything for me.
Yeah, it was the OG one.
me
for
was
sure.
Taps. It was Ghost Hunters.
Yeah, Taps.
Yeah, Ghost Hunters, Taps, and then
There were before.
there was a Penn State Paranormal. I think that's the guy from Kindred Spirits now.
Hmm.
I think they're the same people. If I'm wrong, I'm sorry. I'm not good with
Well,
names.
I'm not. I don't really look at like ghost hunting shows anymore, because what I know now, well, it's a TV show, and like it says, it's a TV show.
Yeah, it's a show
There's a
first.
producer, there's an executive producer, there's many names and faces behind what you're watching.
Yeah, and they will have
Adam
paranormal.
Barry, that's his name.
They will have it. Even if they don't, they will have it. They
Yep.
will create it, because I won't talk for my friend Dom, that is right here in the chat, but firsthand, he was proposed a TV show, and basically they told him, like, well, if you don't have anything, just make it.
No.
That's what the producers told him. Oh my gosh, of course they would
No.
say that. It's all
Man,
about the
Sorry,
views.
no.
That it's all about the ratings, and it's all about
Yeah.
how many people are you bringing in weekly, because that's ad revenue. And
And you know, if
Exactly.
somebody watches a video that they don't like because nothing happened, they probably won't come back next week. And then that's like, ooh.
right, and that is the hardest part, because like we definitely struggled with that at the beginning of our podcast, is how do we get recurring viewers and people that are going to
It's really just
listen or watch our
repetition
stuff.
now.
But now it's
Yep.
just it's
It's
how much-
consistency.
how much content, when they click on your name, are they going to be able to consume? If there's a lot of content there, they are probably going to come back if they liked 10 seconds of what they saw. You got them for 10 seconds, they're going to come back eventually. You don't know when. It could be a year from now, 2 years from now. It could be after you gave up and quit whatever, and you're not doing it anymore, and you went on to some other journey in your life, and you come back and this video has 10,000 views, or this podcast episode has 10 million downloads. Like, it could just be crazy, and you're like, wait, what happened? Why did this take off? And then
Right.
it just became a trend, and somehow it was there, so it took off.
It takes just that moment that people are looking for, and that's what those big channels are doing. They're bringing to people what they want to see, and if they don't have it, well, they will make it. A guy with whom I was supposed to collaborate did a thing, and he got caught by the shape. He was called out by his friends, and they were trying to get him out of this situation, but he couldn't even prove to his friends that he didn't fake. And like, just like I said, people on YouTube are really harsh. If you collaborate with somebody that is like marked as a faker, they will put you in that category, and that's the bad thing about it, because you have great creators out there that are trying real hard to catch genuine stuff, and when they have genuine stuff, they don't fake anything. But sometimes, just to keep their audience, they don't have the choice to do it. That's the bad thing.
I think that's what changes sometimes with, there could be channels out there I've never even watched that we're probably not even simultaneously thinking about, but
it's the big money.
If you think about it as like a business aspect, which I consider this podcast a business, there is an opportunity to make money there eventually one day. But if you think about that, if you're consistently getting YouTube checks or checks from Spotify or whatever it is, because your content's being consumed so much, you're going to spend money to make that video better and go to cooler places, do bigger things, because you have to. Because if your next video doesn't hit,
you're not.
you invested this money into.
You're a
this
one-hit
experience,
wonder.
Exactly. And you want to bring that wow factor. You want to bring your audience to the best freaking haunted places in there is. And I know that probably people go around and see, well, Where is Charlotte County, New Brunswick? Where is St. Andrews? I don't even know. And the ones that take the time to check the video say, oh, they got real stuff out there. But because it's not like Waverly Hills or the Conjuring House or Hinsdale or any kind of big known place that are unfortunately like in the US,
Right.
That's why I want to bring Canadian Paranormal to say, hey, we have haunted spots. If you don't want to be characterized as a faker because you go to Hinsdale and so creator was there and he's known to be a faker, well, go elsewhere. Well, Hinsdale sells, I know, but you have hauntings all over the place, and sometimes it's sad, but you don't have the choice to go to those big places, so people will come upon one of your videos and say, oh, you went to Hinsdale, I'm gonna check him. Oh, you went there,
Right.
and
And we definitely do want to someday. Like you say, you're definitely going back there. But it's sometimes it's like, I think what it could be sometimes too is, you know, some of these places are new to booking, so they haven't had a lot of people like actually film there and stuff. And then now that people are able to rent the space and actually go do this, like that's why it's becoming so popular. It isn't just because all of a sudden it's a paranormal hotspot. It's always been a paranormal hotspot ever since the events that happened there, but probably before that even too.
exactly, yes.
It's probably haunted. Been haunted as fuck.
It's probably haunted since the 18th century, so it's,
but like now you're seeing more opportunities to be able to investigate that, so that's why it's becoming you know, you're seeing it all over Twitter and YouTube because all of the big places are going there, all the TV shows are going there, everyone's going there because it's finally available and easier accessible.
You just have to go through old paranormal TV shows. Just look at the spots they went. Probably you will have a spot in there say, what? That place is haunted? Like the court and jailhouse I did in St. Andrews, a show here in Canada, Creepy Canada, went there 20 years ago.
Yeah.
There were no internet back then. So go check those TV shows, those old TV shows. You will probably find spots in there that even you wouldn't believe, you wouldn't even think it could be haunted.
Yeah. Just like our Double J investigation, you wouldn't think that like a family, how do I want to say it, like amusement park / like recreational like grounds and whatnot would have hauntings on it, but it was pretty active and it was pretty wild.
You never know. You never know what happened. Probably an accident happened that they didn't even talk about because they didn't want to have that bad publicity.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I think that
we have to keep that one under wraps.
Also
but yes,
what's changing in society right now too is the reputation of being haunted is not necessarily a bad thing anymore.
It's not
because
a stigma.
there's dollar signs there,
Exactly.
and it like people will literally just come eat at your restaurant because people said it was haunted. It isn't because your food's good or anything. They're coming there because people said that there's ghosts there.
My light just died. I'm gonna use that. And my dog wants to go outside. Yes, I know, baby.
Yeah, we
my ceiling at my house is actually leaking, so we should probably wrap it up pretty soon.
Oh,
my
my
wife
God.
texts me and she's like, "It's raining and it's dripping inside," and I was like,
Oh,
"Fuck."
no.
Oh, no.
I rent
Oh,
too,
God.
so it's not like I have to go fix it, but I have to go do something about it.
Oh, man. Oh, I feel for you, man. Oh, my God. Okay.
It's so fun. I love it. And it's in our bathroom too. So I was like, we only have one. And I was like, God damn it. I was like, it's in the best place it could be. But I was like,
right
if I had
over
to go
the
pee or
toilet.
something.
Right over the toilet. It drips
Yeah,
right
I
in
was like, if I had to go pee, I'm going to get
bucket.
drenched. Ah, damn it all. But this has been a wonderful talk. I've had so much fun. I really, really want to do this again, to be honest, because I know we could literally probably do this for like the next 16
Oh,
hours
yeah.
straight.
Yeah.
I
Oh
wouldn't
yeah,
even
oh,
mind.
yeah. I think Bonnie would like do it right there.
Oh, yeah. I don't think my bladder can hold it either because I'm starting to feel like I'm gonna pop.
I've drank this whole freaking thing of Dubby, so I gotta be pretty. Well, I'm gonna wash my hands on like Tommy Tombstone.
Jesus God. That was the most offhanded back. Like, oh, that was
He
great.
does have a valid point about not doing.
Thank you very
funny.
much, guys, for having me. It was
Of
an
course, thank
No,
you.
Yeah, thank
podcast.
you.
Wow, thank you so much, guys.
We appreciate it, and thanks for coming on a double book night for you.
Yeah, and I
Went to
think my
premiere.
video
So if you
was
haven't hopped over to watch his video, it's probably
it's
available
finished
to watch.
now. Finished,
Yeah,
and
now, so
Yeah, while you're there, check out all of it because it is all amazing.
literally all of his links are down below. All of our links down below. You can find all of that great stuff. If you're looking for merch from either of us, you're looking for discounts on things,
oh
or looking to get in
Oh.
contact with us.
my God.
No, good or bad.
For the first time ever,
Oh no.
I got 107 views on
Oh.
the premiere, and I got 54 likes on the premiere.
Wow!
Hey, congrats. That's
freaking
amazing.
Amazing.
I am
Huge.
amazed. Thank you so much. If I have some of my viewers right here, I'm tearing up right now. So much I'm happy. Thank you so much. There's an idiot that said that it didn't like. Yeah, like usual.
You can never get away from that.
I got that idiot all the time. But
That doesn't take away from that achievement, though. That's
oh
amazing.
yeah,
my
that's pretty
God.
amazing.
Thank you.
The community
so
is
much.
amazing. I
It
love
is, it
everybody.
is.
I love that community, but it's just that moron that said it didn't like.
We get it too. I had somebody trying to tell me like, you're completely wrong. It's like, just go fact check it, or like,
Yeah,
just
we
keep
were
it to
exact-
yourself, man.
Or we got called an open-headed narrative once.
and
which-
it's like, why? I don't care.
We are kind of.
If you
Like,
don't
you
like,
just talk. It's a talk show.
Yeah, if you don't like, you don't need to come around.
exactly, just pass your way and but 107 and 54, that's a record for me. Wow. Thank you so much for everybody. Thank you. Wow.
Let's get a round of applause in the chat.
Thank you.
All right.
Well, thanks guys again, and anytime just you have my text me and I'll be here.
All
Heck
right.
yeah.
Fantastic.
I was saying if we find ourselves going up like to the great north,
Oh, yeah.
we are definitely gonna come
yeah.
see you.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Oh
We're
yes, I
rolling
will
through.
hook you to some great spots.
Hells yeah.
Fantastic. And remember, folks, to keep your ears and eyes open for what really goes.
Bump in the night. I love you guys.
Thank you.
Peace.